Yeah, I'm a bit late, but I'm here. And yep, there's my tea. For a split second, I thought I had forgotten it, but I brewed this in advance already. So, goes down there. Just getting this started. Yep. All right, things look good now. Yeah, there was a wolf. Oh, that's great. This is milk oolong, which I just realized now is a perfect tea to go with what I'm planning on doing tonight, since I'm playing Wolong and I'm drinking a tea called Oolong. They're not exactly the same, but well, it kind of whatever. This is Oolong tea, and it's a special type called milk Oolong, which is a fairly recent cultivar. It basically has a creamy taste to it, even though there's no milk. Like, as you can probably see, it's just straight up, liquid. But it has a creamy taste and a slightly sweet note to it. So it's a very pleasant tea to have. Though be warned, there are a lot of people selling fake versions of this, where it's just plain old oolong and they kind of like mix it with some milk powder or something, or they infuse it with a milk flavor. You know it's the real thing if you can get multiple brewings of it and it still tastes similar. Whereas with the fake ones, you brew it once and then you brew it again, and then you don't get any of the creamy notes. Thankfully, this one's one of the creamier ones. It's pretty good. Anyway, I should have dedicated that sip. I am dedicating this sip and the live stream. Damn, it's good. Dedicating this to Yamanokami, to the Tenacious Rat, and to the Steadfast Beaver. And you guys know who you are. So, hello, Bitorondo. Thanks for showing up. Also, this time I came prepared. The last time I did this live stream, I barely had anything. This time, I got me my snacks. It's not a burger. I just simply toasted this and put cream cheese and jelly in this. Don't look at me weird. This stuff's tasty. In fact, I've been munching on like cream cheese and jelly on good bread ever since I was a kid. No joke. My mom put me onto this back when I was like, what, 6, 7, 8 years old? She used to buy pumpernickel bread, which is my favorite type of bread ever besides rye. But seriously, pumpernickel bread. If you can get your hands on some pumpernickel bread, some real nice, thick, chewy pumpernickel bread, and then you put some cream cheese and jelly on that, perfect. I know people were putting it on bagels later, which I don't want to say I was the guy. Now, it's too much of a coincidence. I do not think I was the guy that started it, but I do remember. Yeah, you say it's a common thing with bagels. But here's the thing. I remember a time when people weren't doing that. Like in the late 90s, early 2000s, everyone was either getting cream cheese or butter or, on their bagels, or putting in some other stuff. And I remember one day walking into the place I usually went to get my bagel and my tea. And I'm like, hey, you might put in some jelly. I want some cream cheese and I want some jelly. Because normally I went in and I would get a buttered roll to go with my tea. And this time I wanted a bagel because, I'm a New Yorker. We got to have our bagels. Except this time, instead of getting butter on the bagel, I'm like, you know what? Toast that and put cream cheese and jelly on that. And they looked at me like, what? I said, yeah, put some cream cheese and jelly on that. Okay. I still remember the look that dude gave me. And I of course, it tasted almost as good as it is on pumpernickel bread. Not quite the same, but still really good. And then, like, about a month or a couple of months later, suddenly I saw it on the menu. And I'm seeing tons of people asking for it. Now, I'm not saying I'm the guy that started it. I'm not. I'm pretty sure it's a simple coincidence. But I do remember a time when I was doing it myself, by myself, and no one was doing it. And then when I ordered it at one of my favorite little bagel-type deli shops, yeah, then suddenly it started popping up everywhere. So, but no, it's too much of a coincidence. I doubt that I was the guy that started. Anyway, Yeah. Thanks for that, BitTorrent, though. I mean, maybe in your head canon it is, but I don't want to be that braggadocious. So, yeah, that's my food tip for you for today. Oh, another food tip, since I still am behind on doing cooking on a budget stuff. For you ramen people, I know I've mentioned this before in the other live stream, but I'm going to say it again. You don't need to stick with the flavor packets. You can make yourself a tastier broth. Yeah, you heard me. You can make yourself a tastier broth to put into your ramen. Try this the next time if you have a little bit of time. Put your water in the pot, boil the noodles as normal, right? Boil it for 3 minutes, take the noodles out, drain it, rinse it with a little bit of cold water just so it isn't too starchy, put it in a bowl separately. Then, what you're gonna do, that pot that you boiled the water in before, you're gonna put in a cup to a cup and a half of chicken broth. Stir in a tablespoon's worth of miso paste. Granted, I know some places miso paste is expensive. The cheapest version you can get is like white miso, and you can usually get it at a decent price at a local Asian shop or a really good grocery store. You shouldn't have to spend more than like, say, $3-4 on that. So, and it'll last you a long time. So you get like a tablespoon of the miso paste, you put that in some chicken stock, like a cup to a cup and a half of chicken broth. You don't have to boil it, just heat it up, mix that in. That's your basic broth for your ramen. And then if you want, you can flavor it with some soy sauce, maybe a little bit of eel sauce. And then on the side, put in a boiled egg. An egg boiled at about like 6 minutes is perfect for this sort of thing. And then like in that chicken broth, the miso chicken broth thing, you can throw in some cabbage. Let that simmer for about like a minute so the cabbage isn't too soft, isn't too hard. And you got yourself, and then also any meat you got, if you want to use Spam, you want to use some leftover meat from dinner last night, you want to, sardines, whatever. You can put that as your protein on the side beside the egg and then the cabbage and then that broth with the ramen. I promise you that's going to be a hell of a lot better than if you just simply use that flavor packet and then gave yourself a whole lot of extra sodium. So remember that. Try that next time. You'll see. You'll see. Yeah, with bouillon, good idea. That is also, in fact, if you can't make your chicken stock or chicken broth is too expensive, which I understand, though the places I go to, I can literally get like a big box of the stuff for 99 cents. But if it's too much, yeah, get yourself some chicken bouillon cubes. Just as well. It works just as good. Like, you can just, and in that way, it'll save you money on that too. So there's all these little tricks you can do to make these things a lot better for you. You don't have to spend a whole lot of money on that. So we're going to now jump into the game. This stream is not going to be as long as the last one where I was on for almost 5 hours because I do need to cook after this. I'm planning on making some more curry, probably Japanese curry tonight, which also you can make your own. Like you can actually make your own Japanese curry. Like you know when you go to the store and you buy the curry in boxes, you can make your own version of that, and it's not hard to do. And not only that, you can make a huge batch of it and then freeze it in like serving size clumps in your freezer, and then like when it's time to make your next batch, just take it out of the freezer. I gotta do videos on these. Seriously, you guys can save a whole lot of money and have some really tasty meals if you just spend the time learning how to cook. Like seriously, you guys need this stuff. But I need to start the screen. So just starting to steam up. Okay, so what's up, Fox? Belayev's Fox, always on here. It's always a pleasure to see you. Okay, so you're asking, do I ever watch YouTube on TV? Not really, no. Every now and then, it's on once in a blue moon. Like if I happen to be sitting in front of the TV and we were either playing games or watching something else, and somebody brings up something like, oh, you got to see this crazy video or whatever, I might pop it on then. But most of the time, I'm either watching it on my computer or I'll maybe see it on my phone. But most of the time, I'm watching YouTube on the computer screens. I rarely use my TV, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. That thing over there is like, well, you can kind of see it. It's like I went this way. This way. It's almost like just a decoration for me at this point. It's just there. And I was asking what I'm going to make for dinner. Most likely Japanese curry tonight. It's most likely going to be Japanese curry. I was thinking of making regular curry, but by the time I'm done with this, I think it's going to be around 8 o'clock my time. And even though I love making Indian style curry, it's going to take a while. Whereas a Japanese curry, I already have some roux ready to go. I just need to mix it in with some water and broth and then put it on my meat. So I'm probably just going to go with that. So let's see here. Now, we're going to be playing Wolong again, like I said. But this time, unlike last time, I'm not just simply going to be going through levels. I'm actually going to do something that I wanted to do last time, but I just kind of got caught up in playing the game. And that's kind of like focusing on the weapons a little bit and kind of talking about what they are and how they're used in the game and whether or not they were really used in this time period. Because I'm seeing a few anachronisms in this game, which, to be fair, it's a given. You know, a lot of video games, they're not necessarily going for historical accuracy. They're going for the rule of cool and or spectacle. And so not everything you're going to be seeing in the game as far as weapons or armor are going to really fit that time period, which is okay. You know, again, I don't play these things for historical accuracy. For historical accuracy, I study the history of it. For entertainment, it's entertainment. I will say, though, that they do enough. Like, there's several things I see in the game that's like, yeah, that's pretty much how the armor would have looked, or yeah, that is kind of like how the weapons would look. But then there's a few other things that's having me go, no, no, like that, no, that didn't exist yet, that sort of thing. Which is weird because they also put like the actual historical equivalents in the game, which is kind of weird, but whatever. We can get into it. Excuse me for a minute. Okay, so I'll just keep this up for a second. And I'm starting the game. You probably are hearing it in the background. I'm going to have to set up the screen again. If the music is really loud, let me know, because it's kind of loud in my ears right now. In fact, I might want to lower the volume a bit. That's a bit much. Yeah, that's a bit better for me. If it's too, like, let me know how the sound volume is, both with my voice and the game playing. So, game capture. I always have to do things a hard word. No, we are not capturing Dark Tide. As much as I feel like playing Dark Tide, we're not doing Dark Tide tonight. Well, maybe I might play it later, but... Alright, popping you guys back up on my screen. I'm wondering how you guys... I know some people, when they play the game, they're able to have the chat overlay over their game. I gotta mess around with OBS to figure out how to do that. Or maybe it's a YouTube thing, I don't know. Alright, Sadworm. So I'm actually kind of inaudible on YouTube and can't hear Wolong really. Yes, you did hear Heretic removing later. That's probably going to happen. Probably want to put a gain filter on Wolong. Probably. Alright. So, Sad, according to you, I'm a little inaudible. Everybody else, do I also sound way too low? Like, let me know what the sound is like right now. I'm going to, in the meantime... Alright, Discord is off, as it should be. Steam's low. Wolong, I lowered it, but I'm going to jack it up to about 10. I did sound a little low, but I sound good now. Okay. I'll jack up my voice if I have to. It's 60 rather than 10%. Blame the mic. I'm hoping this year I finally get a better mic than this. I keep saying that every year, and then every year something happens, but no. It's on the list. Like, I got a list of things that I'm prioritizing. One of them is this mic. But I did just adjust it to be a little bit closer to me, so maybe that'll help. This is one of those mics that if I'm over here, you hear nothing. Then I'm over here, and suddenly I'm blowing up your eardrums. So I need a bit better balance than that with this thing. Ay. All right, so hold on. I'm kind of screwing up here. All right, so we're going back to the video capture, and I'm going to shrink down. And now I'm going to go into the game. That person on the screen is not my main character. That's sort of the waifu. Pay no attention. Going back to my character. The OG mic. Wolf. I mean, granted, this mic has been around for a while, but it is not the OG mic. You want to know what the OG mic was? The OG mic was the built-in mic on the webcam. We're not professional here. No. I have not followed the trend of making everything like a professional studio and having the really good software and the really good equipment. No. Everything is still like, I am old school YouTuber. The old days when all you did was just simply put up a webcam and just say whatever the hell was on your mind. I am still on that wavelength. That's why my channel is small. That's why I'm kind of behind on videos. This is not my career. My career is doing IT work for a major freaking conglomerate. I mean, it would be nice if I made this my main thing, but I would actually have to treat it that way. I blame myself. By the way, don't ever think when I talk about how small my channel is that it's a complaint or that I'm ever blaming you guys. This is pretty much, I'm happy here. The people that show up are people that want to be here, and they always have interesting things to share. We have fun. And me, I know for a fact that the energy I'm putting onto this channel is not the amount of energy that you would put in if you want to have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I'm not putting in that work. I know if I did, it would be bigger, but I'm not doing that. That's not on you guys. The fact that you guys show up is awesome. That's why I appreciate the fact that you do, because this is not a full major setup. I'm in the middle of my living room, man. I'm in my living room with my computer desk and my freaking Logitech webcam that I've had for, wow, since 2015, 14, 16? No. I'd say around 2017-ish, 16, 17-ish, something like that. Yeah, around that time. That's how, yeah. And then this mic, I replaced the webcam mic with another straight up, like old school condensed mic with the audio cable. And then fairly recently I switched over to this condenser mic that's a USB connection rather than an audio connection. The old one was more of a composite connection. And the next one I get is probably going to be a more updated USB mic. But yeah, that's what I'm doing here. I don't write scripts. I don't, well, sometimes I write outlines, but I don't write scripts, and I don't have I don't try to make things viral. I don't even do like thumbnails, which I probably should. But yeah, I'm just doing this the way I've done it way back in 2007. Whatever happens to me in my mind, I'm going to, think of how I'm going to do it. Maybe write out an outline of how I want to do it. Turn the camera on, record it, use some free video software to edit it, throw it on YouTube, go about my day. Yeah, that's why things are the way they are. So, anyway, we're back here in the game. Hope you guys can see it. And again, let me know if there's any weirdness going on with the sounds. Hello, Joel Wiggins. No, Widgins, sorry. So things are looking booked for the film Siren Final Call. Wait, what? This is something I haven't heard of. All right, so things are looking booked for the film Siren Final Call. Got a slightly elder pressure trainer for the opening invasion. A Troy Archer prison reformist weightlifting motivator. That sounds interesting. I've heard nothing about this. One more power to him. All right, we are going to go into the training area so I can show. Never caught an hour. It's choreographed. It says never caught an hour on lines unchoreographed if you'll have us. Got a slightly elder pressure trainer for the opening invasion. Are you guys asking me to be in this or something? I'm not really too sure what this is about. I'm like, what? All right, while we're trying to get that straightened out, I am going to switch builds. Yes, like are you asking me to be a part of the film? We're going to start with Soren Dragon. To choreograph all of the merfolk weapons work. Huh. Never choreographed a film before. I mean, I've done some very light choreographed stuff for old people's fan films way in the past. But get back to me on that. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Because I'm not exactly a professional, but I have done stuff like that before. Get back to me on that. That's something I have to consider, and I don't think my brain is in the right. Like, I'm doing a live stream with this game, and I don't know if, like, hey, let me consider doing something like this. Yeah, no. I'd have to, like, really see what the whole thing is about and discuss things before I would do something like that. Could be size of. Anyway, so I was going to be showcasing the weapons in the game before I actually played the game, and then we can talk about the stuff. First of all, again, the scenery in this game. If you really wanted to give that sort of mythical, fantasy Chinese land thing, like this game does that so well. So freaking well. Like, when you think of the Wudang Mountains, when you think of, like, the scenery, Taoists, that sort of thing. Yeah, this is just really cool. Really cool. So, we're going to start with, of course, my favorite weapon, the weapon that I try to train in real life, the good old Jen, straight sword. Now, we happen to be using this particular one called the Halo in the game, and notice the blade shape. Like, this is one of those times that I'm like, okay, they did their homework. They did their homework. Like, that blade shape is very consistent with the weapons that was used during this time period. But the one thing I should point out that particular blade shape was made for copper and bronze weapons. They did transfer over to their iron weapons later on, their steel weapons, but the reason why that blade is shaped like that was because when you're making weapons made out of, like, bronze, trying to stretch it out, you can't just simply stretch it out like you do with iron and steel. You kind like if you're going to be making it that long, you kind of have to narrow it out as it goes. Otherwise, weapons becomes too heavy, and you can't just simply stretch it out like that and making a gradual taper. So you end up with this sort of sudden taper. Like, if you look at the middle of the blade, the guy just keeps putting the thing back in. You know what? If I hold block there, so if you look at the blade shape, like almost halfway down the blade, you suddenly see the taper change. And that's very stylistic of, that is pretty much how those weapons looked up until they started working with iron and then later steel, where they were actually able to stretch it out and have a more gradual taper. You can actually see this in some of the replicas that LK Chen makes for their swords. Like, if you get, like, the Flying Phoenix, I think they simulate that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they simulate that. And one other Hanjen, well, I say Hanjen in quotes, that I have, the very first one I ever got, also has this blade profile, even though the blade is steel, because it's kind of copying the method at the time. Now, the one thing that makes me a little suspicious, like, it's like, on one hand, I'm like, yes, they did their homework. And then I look at the handguard. And then I'm like, no, that's not, they weren't really making handguards like that yet at that time. I mean, kinda, yeah, but, I mean, I'm pretty sure if we look hard enough, we will see some more ornate handguards, but I don't think they were that big. I'd have to look it up, but I don't think they're that big. Lotus Elixir is asking, have I played Where the Winds Meet? I have not played it yet. I did grab it. I am interested in it because it's a wuxia game, and I wanted a game like that for a long time, but God, I am not used to talking this much. I do plan on playing it, and from what I've seen of the gameplay so far, it looks right up my alley, but I have not done it yet. Anyway, yeah, the handguard here is just... Let me see if I can switch weapons so I can show you what a typical handguard would actually be like. Okay, let's pick Heaven's Reliance. Okay, this one is also a bit too big. It's also kind of ornate, but it is a little bit more, and also the blade shape, a little too straight. This one should also have a similar blade shape as the other one, but hey, Nayat. The handguard, though, definitely more reminiscent of swords used during that time period. Definitely. But that's still not exactly right. Let's go down to the iron sword. Did I screw up? I screwed up. Why can't I pick this? There we go. That was weird. Okay, that one is also anachronistic. I mean, you could argue that the pommel is right for the time period, but the shape of that handguard, that Ace of Spades type handguard, and the regular straight taper of the sword, that was not, you didn't see that during the Han Dynasty or during, you know, this time period. No. 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 No, 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 no. This is beginning to make me look stupid because I know there's at least one straight sword that looks a lot more like the typical sword that you would see back then. Okay, there we go. Something like this is a bit more reminiscent of Gen back then during this time period, like during this Warring States period, you know, Han Dynasty period, this sort of time period. A smaller handguard, that kind of wide disc-shaped pommel, you know, not a very ornate blade unless you happen to be of royalty, like Sadworm pointed out, you know, the sword of Guodian, but that particular sword, again, that's something that was given to royalty, not the average soldier, you know. And then again, the blade shape, the sword of Guodian, if you notice, that blade shape is not a gradual taper like this one. It's more like the one that you first saw me with, Halo, which is this one. Wait, God, come on, game. There's some weird lag in this game, and which is weird because it's not online. Yeah, the blade shape was more like this with the sword of Guodian. The umbrella looks a lot like typical. The umbrella, by the way, is a crossover from Lies of P. Don't ask me why. Anyways, yeah, I mean, this, you know, as far as historical accuracy for the straight swords I've been seeing in the game so far, they get a C. You know, maybe a C minus. I'll say maybe a B minus. They get some things right. The fighting style, though, is definitely more contemporary. Yeah, let's look at the light swings here. And yeah, again, I should point out that this game is definitely more rule of cool, flash over substance. So there are a couple of things I like about this attack string, though. Starting with the very first move, this one right here. Other than the fact that he's pulling his arm back a little too far to do the thrust, you really don't want to telegraph like this. But I do love the fact that this thrust kind of swings upward like that. And the reason why I like that is because it kind of goes into something that I've noticed about practicing with the Gen. Sometimes when you're doing thrusts or cuts, you're kind of doing both at the same time. And this thrust sort of touches on that. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to hit pause for a second because there's something that I want to demonstrate. I can't do it in the game. I'm going to have to do it here, and I'm probably going to do it poorly. I'm pretty sure somebody's going to make fun of me about it, but I just want to show you guys something. Give me a moment. Actually, you know what? I think I might pick this. I think is a good one to use to considering the game we're playing. All right, so I'm going to move this back a little bit. Note, first of all, this is what I'm talking about when I say a typical sword from this time period. And again, this is an LK Chen replica, right? So if you look at the handguard, yeah, it's a bit ornate, but the handguard is still small. And that's the point that I was trying to make with the other handguards. I made those a little bit too big. Also, note the blade taper. You're going to notice that, yeah, you get gradual, and then right about here, it gets more rapid. And that was typical of those, copper sword, I say copper, sorry, not copper, bronze, those particular swords back then. They did cross over to their iron and later on steel swords, but by the time they moved over to the steel swords, they started realizing, oh, we don't need to do that shape anymore to stretch it out. We can just hammer it out and stretch it out. So the thing I wanted to point out is a lot of times when we're practicing forms, and let's say we're doing like a parry into a thrust and into a thrust, sometimes a thrust is not just a thrust. Oh, and by the way, notice I'm not going all the way over here to do the thrust. All your attacks come from the front, okay? It's always coming from the front because you don't want to telegraph. If I'm going all the way over here, you don't want to do that. So you keep your sword in front of you, and then when you're going to thrust, you thrust. The power is going to be coming from your body, not from your arm. People do this because they're trying to get strength from their arm to do the attack. No, your body delivers the blow. And you don't really need that much. I mean, it's a sharp object. You don't really need that much power. You don't need that much pressure in order to go through your target, unless they're wearing armor. And then at that point, you're not trying to hit the armor anyway. You're trying to go for the weak spots. But the point I'm trying to make is, sometimes when you're practicing a form, let's say you're going in like that, this motion, notice what I'm doing. This looks like a cut, and it can be. But a lot of times I see them going like this. And did you notice that? Where instead of just chop down, it kind of slides in. Because it's not just a cut, it can also be a thrust. Or it can be a thrust that kind of goes into a cut, like a sliding cut. And that's why I kind of like the way he goes like that. Because it could be a thrust, but in case you realize the thrust is going to miss, or unless you see something else coming at you, you can change it into a cut and then cross over and come back here. That's why I like that. It's really interesting how, like here, cut, here, cut, here, cut, but then you can go here, thrust, see? But you're practicing the same motion. There's a lot of that in Chinese martial arts, by the way, where you have moves that marry into other moves, and that's why I like that. It's sort of hinting at it, but it's one of those things that people are going to miss if they don't really know much about it. So, all right. If I'm supposed to be playing a game, I'm sorry, but not doing all this crap. Put this back in. Light is very bright. Sorry about that. Again, I don't have a really good lighting system here. Sorry. Let me get back to the game. That looks about right? Something like that? Yeah? Maybe? Yes, no, yes? All right. So yeah, that's the reason why I like that move so much. I mean, the game's treating it like a thrust, but when I see that kind of upward motion, it's like, that kind of slicing. I really like that slice, you know. So then we get the second move, and that one just gives me a giggle. This is typical contemporary Chinese swordsmanship right here. That sudden cross into the leg. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to stand up again, aren't I? Let me flip a coin. I'm gonna flip a coin if I'm gonna do a physical demonstration of this or not. Heads, I stand up. Tails, I'll just try to describe it. Let's see. That's not a flip. This is a flip. That just went all the way over there because I went out of control. Second coin. I got a bunch of them. All right, so flip. Heads, I'm standing up. Damn it. All right. Man, I just sat down. No, I have to admit, this is amusing me already. I'm kind of liking this better than the other stream because I'm just kind of being a bit goofier than usual. Hello, Super Tycon. Cool to see you. All right, so once again, everyone keeps telling me to move the table, and I probably should, but I'm not planning on going crazy over here. I got actually a lot of space this way, so I don't really have to do all that much, and I'm not going to bump the table. Trust me. I know you don't believe me, but just hear me out. Anyways, so that second thrust that crosses over here and goes like that, right? The reason why I'm liking that is that not only is it very, like anybody practicing Chinese forms will recognize something like this. We go into these forms all the freaking time. Just all the time, this sort of thing. You know, that sort of thing. And it looks pretty. It also, if you notice, even though this is kind of a thrust, notice that you still have to go like this. So this can be a cut also coming from underneath. So you can cut from underneath, but you can also just straight up thrust, right? But the reason why it gives me a giggle is because of that cross-leg stance. A lot of people think that it's going to be something as simple as that, parry, and then you're going to do whatever, and then you're just going to go down and go here, right? But the problem with that is, as anybody who's watched any of Skull's videos, as he's pointed out, when you go low on somebody, this is getting exposed. So you got to make sure that the guy is wide open for a move like that. Not to mention, if you're going for a thrust and you're that low, that means you're going for a specific target, and you better hope they're not doing this, right? If they're coming in with something like that, maybe you might get them, but they got you too. So what do? Well, that cross-leg stance, so many people think you're going forwards when you do that stance. You're going here. You're going off angle. That's why that cross is there. If you're just trying to go forward, just use the other leg there. There's no point. What's the point of, I want to go forward, so I'm going to go this way? No. You go forward, you see an opening, you don't want to get hit, you go here. Do you see the point? Like you kind of get it, right? Like, again, you're in front of me. I see an opening, but I don't want to get hit. If I want to go straight forward, I'll just go straight forward. But if I'm coming here straight forward, I somehow miss, so I get deflected. You're going to hit me. I see you're going to hit me, but I see the opening. Am I just going to then go here? That's a little bit too obvious. But if I go here as you're attacking, now do you see the point? Like, again, here, there's the difference between and That's the point. That's the reason why you go into that cross stance. It's to go off angle, which is what amuses me when people practice it. They always go straight forward and not understanding that this is to pivot. You do that to pivot. Again, and also it's to give you a deceptive, range. So if I'm here, you have a sense of how quickly I can get to you unless I happen to have a really good lunge, right? But if I suddenly go here, I have to go back here to give you an idea of what I mean. All right, so here I am. I'm in this stance. I'm going to try to touch you. This is as far as I'm going to go, right? Then I cross over here. How close do you think I can get to you? Probably the same thing, right? Did you see how much closer I got? That's the deceptive range that step gives you. So that thing gives you two extra things. It gives you extra range to get in, while at the same time getting you off angle so you can attack. And unfortunately, the game doesn't do any of that. It just throws that freaking stance in there because it looks cool. I'm nerding out way too much tonight. Way too much tonight. Way too much tonight. Okay. I was not expecting to be jumping around like this. Hat keeps trying to jump off my bald head. So, I'm going to move this back here. Move that down there. Having too much fun with this. So, sorry. So, man, this is just one weapon. I'm going to all this. We haven't even gone to all the damn other weapons yet. The game I'm playing right now, on Android, we're playing Wolong at the moment. This game. But again, he's moving in a straight line. He's not going off angle. I mean, it looks cool, and it always looks cool when I see it done in forms, and I've practiced it in forms a lot, but I know it's supposed to go off angle, not just straight ahead. And then we get the Anakin spin, which It frustrates the hell out of me that people are calling this the Anakin spin, because that move's been around way before Star Wars came out. I used to practice that shit all the time. Hell, you look at some of my earlier videos when I used to, like, my very early cutting videos, and I used to do that motion all the time as a warm-up. But everyone now is like, oh yeah, that's Anakin Skywalker's move. It's a lightsaber move that Anakin came up. No, Hayden Christensen did not make this shit up. That thing's always been around. Oh my God. I will say that he's really good at it though. I'm not taking that away from him, but he didn't make the move up. But yeah, it's here, and it really doesn't have any other, it's just there to look cool. I mean, you kind of have that sort of behind the back parry and cut motion, but in real life, you're not really going to be doing something like that. It's good for practice. It's good to get your wrists able to change direction in a quick hurry. And I wish I could slow this down, because each one of those twirls is training you to do something specific. It's training you to do parry cut. Or if you're caught off angle and they're from behind, you kind of dip, parry, cut. You know, that's what it's training you to do. This sort of like flexible motion is to help you to change direction on the fly as you're stepping around them. You're not doing this whole thing at once in the middle of a fight, you know. Anyways, but yeah, they threw that in there, and you got that really cool cut, and then finally the two-handed thrust. And yeah, Gen fighting, you will occasionally put your second hand on the blade for extra, you know, strength and emphasis. All in all, a really cool series of attacks with the weapon. I'm happy with it. I do like that they put that little spin in there just to kind of make it look cool, but I do know that it's not very practical, but it looks cool. It lets the person go, ooh, I'm doing a Chinese sword style, cool. Right? But what's the other weapon I happen to have on my back? We got the two-hander. Now, unfortunately, I have not unlocked all of the two-handers in this game, so we can't really rate all of them on historical accuracy. But I will say that this one, other than the fact that it is flocking huge, well, you know, to be honest, they were pretty big. They were, I mean, the ones you see back there, those are the scale. They are pretty tall. Like, they're pretty big. They weren't this wide. Like, that thing is pretty damn wide. And they didn't have that wide a base in the past. Let me look at what's saying here. Considering this fencing the films, the Clone Wars, and they aren't the same. I agree, Super Tycon. Star Wars in general doesn't have a highly detailed martial arts system at all. Yeah. They are very inconsistent. And it's something that used to frustrate the hell out of me. Like, a lot of Star Wars nerds don't seem to understand that a lot of the time they're just making shit up as they go. Excuse my language, but they're making stuff up as they go along. You know, like the whole lightsaber forms thing that came about when the prequel movies came out, that wasn't from Lucas. They just made that stuff up just to seem cool. But if you actually studied any swordsmanship at all, and then you started listening to how they described each style, you begin to realize this stuff doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, lightsaber, form 1 is the most basic forms. It teaches you how to basically defend and stuff like that, but it's just a beginner's form. All right, first of all, what do you mean by form? Do you mean by style? Do you mean like a series of attacks, like practicing forms like kata? Is it an art? They seem to suggest it's a style that you focus on. Well, if it's a style that you focus on and it's focused on mostly basic attacks and parries and such, well, believe it or not, a lot of people suck at fundamentals. So if you're strong with a fundamental style, you'll win. Right? Then they say Form 2. Form 2 is focused mostly on saber versus saber fighting. And Form 1 isn't? What are you training against in Form 1 if not for basic attacks and parries against another freaking weapon? You would think that would be part of your system. Then Form 3, mostly focused on defense. Shouldn't Form 1 be teaching you that? Okay, maybe you got better counters with that. That would make a bit more sense. But again, that just seems to be an aspect of fighting that you should know how to do. Form 4, it's the acrobatic style. Name me one fighting style other than capoeira, and even capoeira, the actual fighting capoeira, isn't nearly as gymnastic and like full of flips. Like in real life, you're not going to constantly be circling around and flipping and spinning and jumping around. You run out of energy too quick. You might have some really slick footwork, but actually, no, I messed. No, Form 4 is the acrobatic. Form 5, it's the power style. Swordsmanship is not about bashing somebody into submission. You're using a sword, not a baseball bat. Form 6, it's the generalist style. It has a little bit of everything. Your style, shut up! You just described all the other ones which focuses on a specific aspect of swordsmanship other than the gymnastics that you should have. You should have good defenses. You should have good attacks. You should be able to parry. You should know how to deal with another person using a similar weapon as you. You should have strong fundamentals. And then you're saying Form 6 just adds all of that in there, but it's not as good. Like, it's stuff like this which lets me feel like, okay, whoever came up with this does not practice martial arts. And then finally, Form 7. It's the style that leads you to the dark side. How? Cause you're tapping into dark side techniques. It's swordsmanship. Are you basically saying that swordsmanship leads you to the dark side? If so, then the Jedi are having a really hard. No wonder they're losing so many members. If just simply learning how to fight is like I've really been meaning to do a video on this, and I'm only just scratching the surface of my beef with all this form crap. But I could tell that whoever came up with this never studied fighting or knew about it like tangentially. And things have only gotten more stupid as time went on. I'm just simply describing it the way it was described before Disney took over. And ever since, like, you know, even before Disney took over, people were really just going crazy with it, like coming up with different versions, like, oh, Makashi is this and this one, and Juo is that, and all that. It's like, let me tell you something. If anybody wants to make up a fake fighting style for whatever universe that they're coming up with, what makes a fighting style isn't so much the technique as it is the combat theory behind it. You need a combat theory. What I mean by that is, how are you planning on defending and attacking? How are you planning on defending yourself? What is your goal? And I don't just simply mean by, oh, my goal is to win and survive. No. How are you going to go about it? Are you planning on getting in close with a powerful strike? Are you planning on trapping their limbs while beating on them? Are you planning on attacking from a distance and then closing in and finishing off? Are you going in for grapple distance and then taking them to the ground? Is your combat theory about fighting at the mid-range? Are you going to be using mostly your fists or are you going to be using your feet? Does your style believe in kicks higher than the belt? Do you believe in circling around your opponent and going for obliques? What is your combat theory? That's what makes a style. Not focusing, we focus on blocking mostly. Every fighting style. Yeah, this is the type of nonsense that drives me up the wall. Like, I could tell, like, you guys seriously don't know what fighting is. Like, whoever came up with this. Like, it led... time to show a little bit more of my nerd card. Back when I was, like, knee-deep in Star Wars stuff to the point where I was part of a Jedi message board, and we had our own Jedi characters and stuff like that, I actually revised the forms. Like, I had my own Star Wars universe. I had my own Jedi-focused universe, and I completely redid the forms so they actually made sense. Because I was so pissed off, and that was back in the early 2000s. Back in the early 2000s, I'm like, what the fuck? And I completely redid them. So they actually made sense. I should get, maybe, if you guys want, I'll do a video on that, but it's really just showing just how much of a freaking geek I am. Oh, God. Sheesh, I haven't even played this game yet. I just happen to have it in the background. All right, anyway, this thing. So the length is a teensy bit too long, but not so much that I'm going to go, okay, it's outrageous. Because, again, the long-handed swords back then were pretty long. They were pretty long. Joel says the Norse Angsagots theory is disabled. Wasn't joking about the tennis bit too. Yeah, sad. Thanks for bringing that up. Yeah, the guy who tried to come up with the new fighting style for the prequel movies, yeah, he did look into tennis swings as strikes as well. A lot of people don't know that. I'm glad you brought that up. And AN Android, you're right. So the whole point about a form leading to the dark side is the same reasoning for fighters leading to the dark, although murderous intent. I sort of give the murderous intent a pass. Sort of. Kinda. In that, like, if you understand it from the Japanese standpoint, like, it's like there's fighting to win, and then there's fighting at the cost of life. The whole point is what they were trying to say, and I think Western Capcom, that, like, when they Americanized Street Fighter, they kind of butchered this. Nowadays, when you train in martial arts and you practice against other people, you're really trying to improve yourself. I mean, yes, you're trying to defeat your opponent, especially if you're trying to learn self-defense, but if you're trying to master martial arts, ultimately it's about mastering yourself. And this is the reason why they start saying things like there's a martial way rather than practicing a martial art. In fact, you sort of, Ken and Ryu are supposed to be two sides of that coin. Ryu is practicing the martial way. So that's why his style is a little bit more simple, but it's very powerful, and he's always trying to find the meaning of what does it mean to be a warrior. Ken is practicing the martial art. That's why Ryu focuses on the Do side of Japanese martial arts. Ken is focusing on the Jits style of martial arts. He's focusing on techniques, and if you notice, that's why Ken is a bit more flashy, a bit more flamboyant. He's got a lot of crazy techniques. He's got a lot of crazy kicks, because he's focusing on perfecting his techniques, his art. But they're both still not necessarily trying to practice it to lord over other people. It's a way of refining themselves. Gorky, on the other hand, we know him as Akuma, but I like the name Gorky better. Gorky is simply trying to, to him, mastering the fist means to completely obliterate the opponent in front of him. Because that's what martial arts is to him. It's like, yeah, you may be focusing on yourself, but if a martial art can't destroy the person in front of me, then what good is it? I have to put my life on the line. When I'm fighting against someone else, the only thing that will prove to me whether I am good enough or not is whether I live or die in this fight. That's that murderous intent that they're trying to talk about. Once it's like, and this is the also reason why in the lore of Street Fighter, Goki only goes up against people he knows are really good. He doesn't try to, people he knows is beneath him, he either doesn't even bother or he doesn't use all of his strength. And he's not necessarily trying to kill you, but he's going to break you down to let you know your place. But the second he goes up against somebody that he knows is on his level, he's like, okay, it's a fight to the death. And it's not necessarily because he's like, oh, I'm evil, I want to kill. It's like, no, this is how I get to prove how good I am. If I'm going to be walking around calling myself God of the Fist, I have to put my life on the line. And if I die, well, that means I wasn't good enough. This guy was. And if I beat him, then I know I'm on the right track. That's what that's about. It's a bit different than the dark side nonsense that you happen to see in Star Wars. It's a different vibe. But of course, when we Americanize it, all that nuance goes out the window. And Goki's just simply Akuma and he's evil. Can you tell I'm really frustrated with how they dumb down these things? The difference between Okinawa and Goju Ryu is Kyokushin, or like the villain in Kung Fu Jungle. Yeah, kind of like that. Kind of like that. Back to this, damn it! So yeah, the weapon, the handguard, accurate. Pommel, accurate. I am a bit annoyed at how thin the hilt is. I think that's a little too small for a sword like this. It should be a little bit thicker, especially since the one-handed swords have thicker grips. But then again, you sometimes see these weird, kind of weird differences in Chinese weapons. Just these weird idiosyncrasies of how they were made. Because I've seen modern Chinese yen with really thin hand grips, but they're accurate. And then I'll see other ones with really thick ones, and it's just like, there's no consistency. But yeah, for the most part, this looks a lot like the weapon. And the techniques, by the way, if anyone's going to ask me, is this like accurate to how, during the Han Dynasty and after the Han Dynasty during the Three Kingdoms period, is this how they used it? I don't know. Nobody knows. There is no existing sword style from that time period for us to look at to compare. Everything you're seeing here is modern interpretations or just straight up modern martial arts. In fact, I recognize a lot of these techniques right off the bat. His name escapes me right now. Let me, so that I don't completely butcher his name. This guy, yeah, there we go. And I'm going to butcher his name, but it's Yu Chenghui. Yu Chenghui, by the way, that guy was a beast. You want to talk about like real martial arts swordsman masters? Check that guy's history out and check out his stuff. That guy was no joke. Yu Chenghui, he actually he kind of revived two-handed swordsmanship in mainland China. And there's a particular wushu form that he created himself that I've been noticing lately in China, it's become popular all over again. Like anytime you happen to be seeing videos of somebody practicing a two-handed sword Jin in China, and you'll notice that it has a lot of that double uppercut swing, that's his form. I know that form. Well, I don't know it personally. I don't know how to. I don't know the whole form, but I've seen it so many damn times. I can recognize it just from a piece of it. I can tell you. And even though what we're seeing in this game is kind of a wilder version, the minute I saw that, I'm like, yep, that's Yu Cheng Wei right there. That's basically his style right there. So it's a bip, 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 bip. That last jumping cut, I'm not so sure about, but almost everything else, especially that right there. Except Yu Cheng Wei tends to do that a bit more gracefully than this dude. This dude's just doing it in a bit more of a savage way, which, well, this is a war game, so it's appropriate. Even I love this. That stance right there before the thrust. So characteristic of how I see this weapon being used. Even, yeah, in the stances, accurate. They did some really good motion work with this. Oh, I forgot to go into this. I'm sorry. I didn't go into like the martial art techniques that each weapon has. This game randomizes what special techniques you can have with the weapons. So you gotta like constantly keep picking up the same damn weapon until you find one with the techniques you want. I'll type that down for you. Yu Cheng Wei. There. I'll put that in the chat so you can look him up. That dude is freaking awesome. May he rest in peace. That guy was... Anyway. So we got this move. This is the single-handed Jin, which is just basically... It's just basically clouding the sword. I've actually seen that form. That's actually something I've seen in the Wudong sword form. That motion right there. And then there's this. It's just a straight thrust. It's basically just a straight thrust. There's nothing too spectacular about it. You know, it's a straight thrust. But it does have a really cool follow-up. That right there. And I love that he sidesteps when he does it. So basically it's like an attack to the front, then quickly sidestep, and then you slash them. Now I know the sidestep, he kind of attacked in a different direction, but when you're actually fighting an opponent in the game, that move actually sidesteps and then zero ins, and it kind of does that thing I told you about what you do with the cross leg. In fact, let's pick a fight with this dude so I can show you what I mean. Hey. Oh, I did the wrong thing. Yeah, you see how that hit him? And how it went around him to make that second follow-up? That's why I like that move. So, yeah, it's really useful, really cool. And then this is that's just pure, you know, kung fu movie nonsense type stuff. Stab and flip out the way in a crazy barrel roll. Awesome to see in the movies, not something you'd see in real life. There's plenty of other martial arts stuff, but if I do that, we're gonna be here all day. And I'm already, like, I'm running out of time here. It's already 7 o'clock. I haven't even gone through all the weapons yet. The martial arts here, though, are really cool. Everything here is made up, though. You're not doing that in real life. I use this move a lot in the game, but you're not doing that in real life. Sorry. There is a motion where you do kick the blade, but you're not kicking it to send it at them. It's more like you do a really mean cut downwards, and then you kind of kick the blade back upwards so that you're not relying purely on your arms and upper body to pull the weapon up. So, oh, you can change the weapon techniques? Oh, thank God. Thanks for telling me that, Sad. Now you're just giving me more of a reason to beat the game. Because I got certain weapons in here that I really like their stats, but I don't like the martial arts on them. So if you can change the weapon techniques in New Game Plus. Yes. Finally. Jeez. Man. That was frustrating the hell out of me. You have any idea how many weapons I threw away because I didn't like the moveset for them? Seriously. Oh, man. And the curved saber also has a sword spinning thing, too. Yeah, the curved sabers have a lot. Let me hurry up with this. So, yeah, the weapons here, the moves here are pretty cool. Oh, I forgot to do this crazy move, which is just simply a charging Sonic Flash. Yeah, you're not doing that in real life, but it's cool to look at. All right, so going to pick a different dude. I'm running out of time, and I got so many weapons to go through. It's ridiculous. All right. You know what? We're just going to kind of do a speed run here, all right? We're going to do a speed run and try to go through as many weapons as I possibly can. So we're going to go with the straight saber. This weapon here, this one here, and by the way, again, they did a good job for the most part. This is pretty much how these weapons looked back then. This is the weapon that would supplant the Jian in Chinese history. And it's basically a straight sword, but with a single edge rather than, double edge. The Dao. The Dao would not become curved until after the Tang Dynasty. Okay? Like during the Song Dynasty onwards, you started seeing a bit of a curve in the weapon. But up until then, they were all straight. And they were used similarly to the Jian back then, I would assume. But I like the fact that they do give this thing thrust, but it's mostly, you're just swinging with this, which makes sense. And you got like that thrust there. That is a very Jian-like technique. But I could see it being used with a weapon like this because, again, it's straight. And yes, the Jian in this game does have that attack. You got this move. Also a very Jian-like thing to do, though you see this with Dao a lot more. And then finally, that craziness, which, yeah, again, movie magic. Anyway, the reason why I'm stressing that, yes, these weapons were not curved until after the Tang Dynasty, during the Song Dynasty usually saw that, is because this game, we'll do this. This game then throws weapons like this in here. What are we doing? I mean, you could argue, well, it's still basically straight. Now I see that curved tip there. This is a weapon. This is a later weapon. Damn it. This is not something that was used during this time period. In fact, they got a lot of weapons in here that were not used during this time period. And yeah, you guys could probably point out, what the hell is this? Not this one. You might be wondering, well, obviously, if they didn't have that weapon, they definitely didn't have this one. But again, that's a crossover from Lies of P. We'll let that one slide. Okay. We'll let that one slide. Yeah. Actually, I kind of like that motion in. That's pretty cool. And then it's just a waist cut. Whatever. But yeah, there were no curved weapons like this, especially this. This, you didn't start seeing shit like this until like the Ming Dynasty, Qing Dynasty period. What the hell are we doing? This weapon was not... But I blame... Well, I mean, we can blame, typical anachronisms that you tend to see in a lot of Chinese fictional stuff. But I also blame the Ming Dynasty for this. What? Yeah, I blame the Ming Dynasty for this. You might be wondering why I'm saying that. And it's because the Ming Dynasty is where we get the novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms. And they drew all of the characters. They portrayed all of the characters using Ming-style weapons with Ming-style armor in a time period that came out thousands of years before the dynasty. And that's the reason why the characters kind of looked like they do in typical renditions of this time period. All right, let me look at this. BLS says, why did the Jian never develop crossguards shaped like medieval European swords of the Sai? I get this question a lot. And it all comes down to cultural preferences and how the weapons were used. A lot of the time, the combat environment dictates a lot about how a weapon is basically going to be used. I mean, we could argue, why didn't Roman fighters end up developing longer swords and bigger handguards for their weapons? And part of the reason is because that's not the fighting style that they were using. They were mostly using weapons in conjunction with their shield. Their shield is going to be used to protect them. So what do you need a big handguard for? And also, there's a lot of factors to this. Believe it or not, during this time period, even though this game is not showing it off, and forgive me for having this weapon out because it's kind of going against what I'm talking about right now. I should have the straight sword out. But if you notice, the older swords had such small handguards because basically they were using them in conjunction with shields on the battlefield. And you also got to remember that the Jian, when it stopped being a battlefield weapon and became more of a personal use weapon, the weapons that happen to be strapped to your side are going to, if you're going to be wearing it as a status symbol, which they were, they are going to, you have to make it comfortable to wear. A long sword is not exactly comfortable to wear when you consider the long freaking handguards that they have. It's part of the reason why you ended up developing the weapons that did. Like, if you look at the development of the small sword and later on European society, they were made not only because it would supplement the more thrust, oriented fighting style that they had at the time, but the handguard is nowhere near as big as, like, say, before the rapier, side swords, weapons like that. Those particular things get in the way of wearing it comfortably. And then there's also, you have to consider the techniques that are being used with these weapons at the time, and the whole thing that's, going about, like, how are you fighting? I noticed that the development of, like, say, swept hilts and bigger guards and all that complement the fighting styles and the techniques that were being used in Europe at the time. Whereas if you look at areas in Asia, their techniques were used a little bit differently and for different purposes. And they also had all right, let's put it a different way. If you are developing a fighting style that also develops motions that move your hand out of the way, and it's developed from a fighting system which already had other ways to defend your hand, why would you develop a handguard for it? If you're also using techniques that aren't going to have you using handguards to lock your opponent's weapon in place, why would you develop that? It all comes down to what you're focusing on. This is why I say combat theory is really important when you're trying to develop different styles, because it's also going to dictate not only how you fight, but the tools that you use. And to be fair, later on in China, you do get to see bigger guards and prongs similar to sai, but they put those on different weapons because those weapons were designed to fight in that particular way. So these are things that people have to consider. A lot of people, unfortunately, seem to look at evolution and progress as a straight line, not understanding that environment dictates how things are going to evolve. Evolution is not a straight line. You're not going to be guaranteed to start from this point or to this point. It's not a guarantee that, this weapon starts out this way. It has to develop this way. That means you're a little bit too stuck in your own culture's way of thinking. Evolution branches out. It all depends on the environment that these things develop. Okay, yeah, rapier with a Scottish basket hilt. Exactly. So watching you and going to add the Gunlook shield, talking about this movement, he's sort of... Yeah, exactly. Aeon's right on that one. So, God, I am running out of time. I wanted to bring this, I'm going to have to do a later video where I go on the other weapons here because I am running out of time and I wanted to at least go through one area before I cut this off. But I had to bring this one up because this is the most egregious version of anachronism I have seen. And yet it is so married into Romance of the Three Kingdoms because of one guy, one character. We have to bring this up. Where are you? Where's my man Guan Yu? Guan Yu! This dude right here. Everyone knows Guan Yu. Everyone knows him with his big-ass freaking crescent glaive, which is really just a Guandao, which is a pole-length doll named after him. He's got his long beard. He's a big, strong, stout guy. And he ran to the battlefield using a weapon like this, just tearing everyone apart. And that is complete BS. This weapon did not exist during that time period. It didn't exist. It wouldn't exist until much later on, again, the Ming Dynasty. This weapon is a major anachronism. Major freaking anachronism. I mean, yeah, it's cool in the game, and you get to see certain techniques that actually work. Well, okay, you didn't actually do that in real Chinese martial arts. But this motion right here, with kicking it back up, yeah, I see that in Guandao forms all the time. And that's just a big wind up and swing, nothing crazy about it. But yeah, this weapon did not exist during this supposed freaking time period. Guan Yu never used this weapon. I'm sorry. I hate to burst people's bubble, but I'm sorry. No. The most likely the weapon he used was something, well, okay, this is an exaggerated version, but he most likely used a weapon like this, which is called a shuo. if I'm pronouncing it correctly. It's basically a big-ass spear with a long spear tip. And while this is definitely an over-exaggerated version of it, this would be more... If he was using a big-ass pole weapon, this is most likely what he used. Not this exact shape, but you get the picture. But it wasn't this freaking thing, okay? It's funny how they call this one a pole doll. This is another thing that frustrates the hell out of me. I have to give a red mark on this, Koei Tecmo. You got the big ass, they call this one the curved head glaive, which is obviously supposed to be meant to be a version of a Guandao. But you also have a Pu doll in the exact same category. No! 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 Man! A Pu doll may look like a Guandao, but it is not a Guandao because a Pu doll is much lighter. It can be employed much more quickly, and the lengths of the handle can vary. It can be as long as, I mean, granted, some people will say that once you get it as long as a Guandao length, it's not really a Pu doll anymore because I've seen Pu doll with handle lengths this long. Well, actually more like this. So it almost looks like just a two-handed sword with a really long, typical handle. But there'll be also ones that are that long, okay, and longer. Let me see here. Like from Han to Ming, eventually the swords get thicker as the armor got better. Similar, kind of like a partisan. Yeah, similar to a partisan. We want to talk about the Guandao before. Saturn's asking, it could have been the Guan Yu used the G or a very large cutting spear instead of a Guandao. Well, there wasn't. Yeah, the G was basically like I said before. I've actually I've watched a couple of documentaries where they talk about this, and from what I've heard and from what I've read, the prevailing belief is that Guan Yu probably used a shuo, which is a cutting spear. Have a good stream, Nayat. Take care. Well, not good. Have a good rest. It is 7:13. All right. Anyway, we got to go back to the Pu doll thing. This weapon. Look up an actual Pu doll, and you'll see my beef. These weapons are much lighter, and they were employed with very quick techniques. In fact, I've seen Pu doll being used similar to regular doll, just with a longer handle. That's how fast and light they are. This freaking thing and this freaking thing are not the same thing. Points off. Anyway, then we get into what they call the halberd, and this is where we get into a weapon that did show up during this time period, and that's the Ji. You don't see this being used in Chinese martial arts anymore, but the Ji, or the pole axe, as they like to call it, like I've heard it called a pickaxe, I've heard it called like a pole axe, but it's basically a pole arm with a hook at the end. This particular one has been further developed. They added it to a spear. They've added it basically to a shuo. And it's I mean, all this stuff you're seeing here is contemporary martial arts stuff added to it. Again, we don't know the martial arts during this time period because there are no existing manuals, there's no descriptions. But considering that it's an axe with a pick, you're using this basically to hook and pull at enemies. And considering that chariot warfare was a major part of Chinese fighting at that time period, you can easily see this being used to pull people off of those things. Or to attack, remember they had shields, you had shield walls. Using a weapon like this to try to go overhead and behind the shield makes sense. Now, again, all this twirling around the back and this sort of thing, this is all, that makes sense though, that kind of hook in and pull. I mean, you would expect to do something like that with a weapon like this, but yeah. By and large, we're seeing modern interpretations of how this probably was used. But they're calling this a halberd, which I guess is a close enough equivalent for Western language to describe. This, though, is the thing that we have to touch on. This weapon right here. This would be the ultimate evolution of what the Ji would become. And it's also the weapon most associated with Lu Bu, who is a very legendary warrior during this particular time period, and in the novelization of the time period called Romance of the Three Kingdoms. Now, at the moment, I kind of forget the full name for this weapon, but yeah, some people may recognize this. It's kind of funny how iconic this weapon has sort of become when people look at Chinese martial arts armories, and yet, as far as I can tell, I have yet to see a single fighting style that actually specializes in this weapon. It's sort of like this relic of a time period that they're no longer existing in. But it's like, it's the evolution of the G, because the G was originally just a pole with that hook axe attached to it. And then they're like, you know what would be better than what? You know what would be better than just simply the axe? It would be better if you add a spear point to it. So you can use the spear for stabbing, but then you can hook. Okay, that's awesome. You know what would even be better than one hook? Two hooks. Yeah. Or you know what would even be better? If they're double hooks. That's how this weapon basically came to be. It's like the super version of the G. So it's like a weapon that's got everything. It kind of reminds me of how the tiger hook swords would later on become developed. It's like, you know what would be better than a regular sword? A sword with a hook at the end. Oh, you know what would be better than a handle? A handle with blades at the end of it. It's like this weapon reversed, if you think about it. Where the hook part here becomes where you grip it actually at the handle, and then the longer part becomes the blade and the hook. Kind of strange, but interesting. And yeah, cool stuff here, but yeah, it's just interesting looking at these weapons that we don't really have much of a context for anymore, because again, we don't fight these sort of, like, the warfare that we are in is not this sort of thing. Come on, come on. Are you gonna die already? You're still alive? Well, then again, I don't really train in this weapon, both in real life and in the game, so yeah, it's hitting pretty weak. Alright. Anything else I want to go into before I go into the main game? Oh yeah, staff. Look, you guys know staffs. You know how they work. Hammers. I mean, they got regular ass hammers in the game, but this thing is as close to a meteor hammer as we're gonna get. I have seen giant ass weapons like this in Chinese armories. They didn't look like this per se. Like, they just like got a ball with maybe a couple of spikes on it. Later, Joel. Have a good one. So when I get the Iron G, the difference between the Iron and Bronze G is really cool. Also, are the only two non-character G. Oh, cool. Can't wait to find it. Crazy ass weapons in this game. And the big baseball bat swing, I guess, the home run swing. And then we got pole axes. I like the fact that they put these big ass axes in the game, because whether people realize it or not, yes, the Chinese did have big ass pole axes. Though again, nowadays I don't know any martial arts schools that teach this weapon anymore, at least in a very specific way. A lot of times I'll see people like doing forms with this axe, but it's a typical form that you would see with almost any large pole-bladed weapon. Like they'll do like a guando or a pudo form slightly altered for this, which is kind of sad. I would love to have seen, again, I doubt you could do that in real life, but I would love to have seen like something, that's actually pretty cool. Like an actual style with this, or a martial arts school that still trains in this, would be really interesting to see. Maybe there is one, but I've not come across it. And then, of course, we got the good old spear. You know what kind of annoys me a little bit about this? Even though, I mean, yeah, it's a spear. You're going to thrust forward. They kind of got that right. They even got that kind of sliding hand motion with the second and third moves. But there's no shaking body. Where's the ghost shakes body that you're supposed to see in every spear form? It's not here. I mean, you got your basic thrusts, but no ghost shakes body at all? Really? Eh, whatever. Whatever. All right. I think I've messed with this long. Oh, they got slash. This is a bit more like a schwa. The slashing spears. And this is, again, what people surmised Guan Yu really used. Again, the way it looks, more or less. Because, again, they did have long spear tips during this time period, and they were kind of blade-like for slashes and such. I do like that motion. And the good old dual swords. I was meaning to go into this earlier. You don't really see many people practicing dual sword forms in Chinese martial arts. I mean, they're there, but they usually are associated with Dao, not Jian. And interestingly enough, a lot of dual straight sword forms are usually practiced by women, probably because of women doing sword dances. Because a lot of sword forms that people practice today evolved from sword dance motions, not necessarily fighting motions. Still, there is a Chen Tai Chi sword form that uses two swords, so you never know. All right, Ian's asking, is the technique with spear that you play with the flexibility of the spear? Kind of, but not really. Ghost Shake's body is the most basic movement that you're supposed to do with a spear when learning it. And I do not have a spear to kind of show you. I don't, so I can't really stand up and show you, but just give me a moment here. I'm going to increase my screen for a bit. Okay. This is the best I can do without holding a spear in my hand. Hold on. And also, I'm probably not going to be doing it that well because I don't practice with the spear. But the most basic motion you're supposed to do with a spear is you start off where you raise the, like, imagine the spear point is coming out of my left hand, right? So you're holding it like this. And the motion is boom, 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 back. Boom, 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 back. That's Ghost Shake's body. It's the most basic freaking thing that you do with a spear. And there'll be people who just practice that over and over and over again. Yeah, if you look it up, you'll see that even well-known famous martial artists, like well-known guys who've gone down in history, had been known to practice nothing but that for like months on end. Just this, just boom, 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 boom. Just that. That's Ghost Shake's body. This is like deflect, get it centered, thrust. Block, parry, thrust. And it's all coming from here. The waist guides the whole motion. And they say practicing that over and over again is going to help you develop your power, help your stance, work, all that stuff. It's like one of those motions that they say helps your martial arts, period. Whether you're practicing spear or not. So, anyway, sorry about all that. Give me a moment. Got hit with a message. Okay, so. I don't remember exactly, but I think that may be one of the most random spear techniques you can pick up, or something that kind of forgets the first step. Yeah, Ghost Shake's body. Yeah, that's it. And again, I'm not the best example of it. I am pretty sure you can find videos, you can find masters somewhere who can show it to you much better than I did, but that is the basic general way that it's done. All right. If you guys want me to in another video, maybe I'll go into all. I should probably just simply do a video breaking down all the weapons in here instead of doing this on a live stream, because now it is 7:25 and I haven't even fought or done anything yet. I blame you people for this. No, I'm just kidding. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'm going to. And I'm going to go back into Sword and Dragon just to make sure that the weapon didn't get permanently picked. Yep, you're still there. We are going to go into a level that I have not gone into before, that I'm probably going to get my ass kicked in, and then I'm going to have to cut it off after this so I can prepare dinner. Let's see. Bad Away Sad. This is his hot. I've been trying to 100% the game. So as you can see, I got just about everything here. Just about everything. Oh, well, I forgot the panda there. I'm going to go back and get the demon panda there. Demon panda missing there. Got everything here. Demon panda missing there. Got everything else. And now we're here. And yes, I've already started dabbling into these extra missions, but oh my god, they're hard. Jeez. I'm still trying to go through this because there's a certain longsword that I'm trying to get that's in this EX. But damn. Oh my freaking god. This, oh man. Tashisa. I hate Tashisa. I hate Tashisa. But yeah, let's get into this one. When you practice Wu Xing Chuan, if you change to do a second strike. Yeah. So I can see the difference in moveset. Cool. Yeah, Tashisa, he's fun, but oh my god, he's a pain in the ass to fight. Damn. And I heard I gotta fight him again, so. So now we're after Yun Chou. I know I'm pronouncing that name wrong. Yun Chou, who defeated Kun Sun Zhang, the Hebei region, certainly marched south. Cao Cao found himself overrun. Basically, we now need to repel Yun Chou's forces. Alright, let's go do that. This is my first time going through this level. I have no idea what to expect. You know, I did all that talking, and this is only my second bite out of this. By the way, how have you guys been doing? I mean, it's a nice Sunday evening. I know you guys are going to have to go back to work tomorrow, but I hope you guys are doing okay. You know, all things considered right now. I do not want to touch on politics because I'm going to go ranting and raving and foaming at the mouth. All I will say is that I hope you guys are doing all right. I hope you're maintaining your sanity. Yeah, one of these days I'll get into playing Where Winds Meet. One of these days. I need to open up a slot for it. There's my real life responsibilities. There's the videos I still need to get up. There's like 2 LK Chen swords that I need to finish the reviews for. Oh, I got my man going you. I break barrels because I can. Yeah, we'll stick with Soaring Dragon for now. We'll stick with Soaring Dragon for now. We're going to go for the fire weapons, and then I'll switch to wood weapons later. Actually, wait a minute. What are her stats? Oh, I'm mostly wood. So we'll switch with this. But yeah, because of all my life stuff, I don't really have the opportunity to play a lot of new games. Like, this game has been in my library for a long time. Ask Sad. He knows. And it's only now that I've really started diving in and been having fun with it. So let's dive in. You're not saying nothing? All right, whatever, you green bastard. What's she saying? Fear leads to the dark side. Yes, you have, Sad. Yes, you have. You think? By the way, I really like Soso's armor. I've been using it while playing the game on 2 of my other builds. Okay, in case you guys are playing this game and you're wondering how I set myself up, this is one of the builds I set up for myself once I really started understanding, you know, armor sets and weapon sets and how to make it work with my stats. So this is mostly a wood build, but I also added a little bit to fire and earth. Really, I'm adding more to fire. The earth, I might actually bring down the stats on that. I don't really think earth needs to be at 20. The only reason why I had it that high was because before I was wearing a heavy armor set with this, and you need to have earth up to around... I was basically using the Soso's entire armor set, and that's a heavy piece of armor, so you need the earth at around 24 in order to use the armor and still have at least B agility. You don't want your agility lower than B, because if you get it lower than that, you're going to have a hard time dodging and a hard time parrying. And I rely on parrying a lot in this game because you kind of have to. Oh, sorry, I missed a question. Do I have any experience with handheld PCs? No. Because I don't got that kind of money. I'm sorry, man. The only handhelds I am used to is things like Game Boys and my hacked PSP. Speaking of hacks, it just kind of reminded me of something. But yeah, to answer your question, I do not have any experience with handheld PCs. If I didn't drive, I probably would be interested in getting one. because before I started driving around, I used to always have some kind of handheld game. I had my Game Boy, PSPs, all that. And when I would ride the bus and the train, besides listening to my mini disc players, I would also, mess around with the handhelds to pass the time, or I'd read books. But now I'm driving everywhere, so I just don't, if when I'm at work, you can't play games. When I'm driving, I can't play games. And then when I'm home, I'm cooking and relaxing, and if I'm playing games, it's going to be on my PC. There's really no reason for me to have a handheld anymore. And that kind of makes me sad because I really like handhelds, but I just don't really have the option to. Wood builds really do stick to you. This is actually, that's the thing that's sad about using wood builds. Only recently did I make this build. Before I was using mostly fire and water builds. It's only recent that I'm like, let me try the wood build. And wood builds I'm seeing that they're kind of fun. But some people might be wondering, why do I have, like the earth set I'm already explained. That was because I was wearing a heavier armor set. And then now that I switched over to this armor set, I don't need it that high anymore. So I dropped it to 20. Just, depending on the armors. But I think I could probably bring it lower. I just don't want to bring my agility lower than B. Because if it's lower, if it gets to like C or below that, it's going to suck. I might as well wear a super heavy build after that. So, basically, this is a build that's mostly going to be leveling up wood and secondary leveling up fire. Wood is good for keeping your health up, keeping your energy up, keeping your healing, all that. It's got some really good status effects on enemies. I really like the lightning status effect on enemies because it stuns the crap out of them, so you can just keep wailing on them. The problem is, wood is weak to metal. So if some enemy is using metal magic attacks on me, it will F me up. And that's what the fire is for, as my secondary. Because fire hurts metal. So if I notice I'm going up against an enemy that's going to F up my wood attacks, or F up my wood beefs and stuff like that, then I'll switch over to fire and F up their defenses. In fact, most of my builds have this dual setup now, where I will level up my main stat and then have a secondary stat to offset the weaknesses of the first one. I do have one that is purely one stat because it just was a hell of a lot of fun. I call it my flowing water build, but a lot of my other builds, I'm kind of doing this kind of double thing to back myself up. So now that I explained to myself, let's get on with it. Looking at the time and looking at the chat. I am trying to be good. I know I was not good with the chat last time, and I'm trying to make up for this in this particular stream. Uh-huh. No, I should be reunited with them once more. Yeah. I am not above stabbing people in the back in this game. Damn, this is brutal. Again, even in this kind of brutal landscape, look at the land. Again, I love the art direction in this game. I'm wondering how I can get around him, but I don't see a way to do that. Not that I'm afraid of him, but I always prefer sneaking around and ambushing rather than just, like, going all out. But I don't really think I have much of a choice here. I mean, granted, I could just use Hidden Body, which is, a spell you can use to go invisible. But, damn it, didn't kill him. Now I got both these bastards. Come on, die. Ah, I mistimed it. Okay, that was awesome. Hi. That's what you get. Come on. Telling you, parrying is king in this game. You need to know how to do that. An assassin. I should have known. I rushed forward a little bit too quickly. Now sit there and think about what you've done. Look around. I'm playing a little too recklessly. I need to, play the way I normally do, which is very cautiously. I mean, when I fight like a maniac, but when I go through the area, I try to survey the land, so to speak, and see what's ahead of me. Scout around, that sort of thing. Oh, you. I am glad I didn't rush now. I mean, I knew you're just level 1, but still. These guys are a pain in the ass to deal with sometimes if you don't take care of them quickly. I am still only level 1? Huh. Let's see what's over here. Okay. Okay, that was embarrassing. Oh, that sucked. Now I have to fight that thing. Oh, wait, maybe not. Maybe not. Yay. All right, so 1, 2, there. How dare you? Can you get over there, please, and kill him? That's what you get. Apparently his family didn't teach him manners. Grab this. Doesn't seem to be anything over there. That is... I think that's where it came from. I really get the feeling that I'm missing a flag somewhere. Usually you see at least one of those mini flags. That's another reason why I tend to like double and triple like check areas, because they keep hiding important things around, and if you just run through, you're gonna miss them, and you kind of need them. You really want to get all the flags when playing through these areas. So there's nothing there, and that's what I hop through. Zombie, great. Hi. Uh-huh. Alright. I'll fight the tiger. He's not really that hard anyway. Shit, I was hoping to get around him, but nope. Oops. That was kind of dumb. I messed up. I completely missed time when he was going to do that. Come on. Okay, maybe not. Get me my life back. Uh-oh. I better drink. Why am I mistiming everything? That was a very sloppy performance, and I am really sorry that you guys had to watch that. Let me see. Life is definitely a thing. Your games awards me. This is for the end of the Tang Dynasty. Yeah, that's actually a really cool fantasy period to explore it. And there's, like, if you know any of Louis Cha's novels, some of his best work is during that time period. Oh, really? Really? Okay, I'll keep searching then. What did I miss? What did I miss? I don't see nothing. Like, he's saying that there's something important here, but I'm not... Are you straight up lying? Smoking crack? Like what? Like, he said there was something hidden here. And all I'm seeing are bodies. Just a pile of corpses. I almost quoted a line from one of my favorite movies. It's like, there's no money, there's no weed, just a pile of corpses. Props to anybody who gets where that line is from. Oh, maybe it's over here? I see a structure there. Let me see. Okay. Okay. Aha, that's it. And stuff that I'm most likely going to salvage. There's nothing good here. All right, so we got that big ass over there. We got zombie. I'm trying to see if there's any of those wizard fools around, any of those warlocks, but I'm not seeing anything. But I feel there's 3 enemies around, according to my radar. He's not going to be too much of a problem. Famous last words. I don't want to just storm in. I'd rather pick them off. Generally, I play this game like a sneaky bastard. I always try to set my battlefield up. Remember, he who holds the land conquers heaven. Damn it! He who knows their aim will actually win. Oh, come on. Screw it. I'm surprised the red dot didn't go off. I can sneak around this guy, I think. Hopefully without triggering the, the big dude, but oh, he's looking this way. All right, go on, dude. Be a warrior. Dude, hit him! My God. The AI in this game is more brain dead than a glue eating contest. Alright, and then just for fun. I love the lightning effect. See how it just stuns him? Alright, first big flag. You recommend empowering your NPC with R1 impossible. That makes them actually fight properly. Yeah, I did notice that. I just don't like doing it too much because then it eats up too much of your energy. It's always wanted to start his levels on audiobook. Yeah, the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon books are really interesting. The movie doesn't do justice to what the actual story is about. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the movie, but there is so much more going on. And no, he doesn't. Damn it, why am I forgetting people's names all of a sudden? I'm going to concentrate on the fight. Li Mubai, by the way, spoilers, he doesn't die the way that he does in the movie. Just saying. Huh. So, even though I'm supposed to be going this way, I'm blocked. But there's stuff up there, which tells me that I'm going to have to look around once I get there. God, this red stuff is ugly. And rather disturbing to look at, but that was the point. All right, there's two jerks over there, and that's probably the main path, so let's go this way. I still feel like I'm missing something. Can I jump on him? Let me see. Not really, no. Yo, going guns blazing. Move! Come on, go! Go! I literally had to like freaking push him in. And the other dude's an idiot too, thankfully. Come on. Do I have to do everything? Oh, and by the way, in case you guys are wondering, why aren't you leveling up? As I explained in the last live stream, I like going through until I'm at almost the last flag or flag that had a main boss, and then I'll level up because sometimes I have to backtrack, and backtracking through a place with no enemies is a lot better than backtracking through a whole bunch of bastards. Die. Oh, I did not see that coming. I'm glad I blocked that. You know what, the hell with you. Oh, it is hard to read this move sometimes. Thank you. You're actually being useful for once. And then we got another bastard over there. I mean, normally I like tigers, but they are annoying in this game. Alright, I am getting the feeling there's a way around. Yeah. Okay, who's shooting at me from? Oh, from over there. Is there? I keep thinking there is a way around here. Ah. It's this way, and that's gonna break. And now to make him pay for shooting at. Really? Nobody asked you. And this thing was here the whole time? Oops. Yeah, no. You guys saw that, right? It didn't do the fatal blow. I mean, we won, but that was kind of annoying. All right. Let's try this again. Without the embarrassing motions this time. All right, so managed to get... I'm sorry, I'm looking at the chat right now. Managed to get a handheld gaming experience on the cheap using Steam Link on your PC to a smartphone. That's actually not a bad idea. I might want to try that. You can point you to the direction of those books. I would love to read the novelization. Because there's a bunch of them. You got this Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. There's like the Silver and the Vase. There's like several of them, and I actually have them listed somewhere. If I can remember before the end of the stream, I'll quickly look up the titles, and then I'll put them in the chat. And again, they are interesting. They're long and involving, but they are interesting, and yeah. And I know that somewhere around here, yeah, you. This is what you get for playing around and shooting arrows at me. Nice view. Don't want to fall off though. Really? Yeah, just you didn't see me. You didn't see me. You didn't see me. You didn't see me. Die. There. Now at 4. Still feel like I'm missing one somewhere. All right, so. Aha. Is there a way back up here? No. Well, I mean, I can climb on that, but this all looks like death. There is something over there, though. Again, this place is gorgeous. So just look at this. Look, it's just the art direction in the game is really, really nice. I just wish they weren't using so muddy a graphics engine. Like, whatever their game engine is, it's just kind of gives this kind of grainy, dirty look to everything. Warfare Classics, which I'm not going to use because it's only a level 2. I am sensing BS around. There be bullshit here. Go back up here because having the high ground is important. Thought I heard something up there. Okay, he's just a level 4, so I'm still kind of on the right track. Got a tiger over there, though. Do not want to fight a tiger and a trooper at the same time. I mean, I could, but it's not exactly ideal. What is up here? Assassin. You are not ambushing me like your brothers did. Say hello to your brethren in hell. Here. That way. Says, I wonder what all that link works with. I bet Dark Tide would melt. Yeah, I don't know if you want to play Dark Tide on your phone. You might want something a little bit sturdier than that, especially since Dark Tide is unstable as all hell. Okay, I got a fire pot, which again I don't use. I really need to start using these things. Okay, so this is the direction that I apparently need to go into. But again, I am fully exploring everything. Up here. Oh, hi. Oh, my God. I cannot believe I completely did not see him. Like, I'm standing right in front of him and I didn't see him. I'll have him do it. Really, dude? Did you see how easy that was? You're about as good as a meat shield. Alright, so... Alright, that was embarrassing. And now I've just triggered it. Oh, I didn't. You know what? Let me see if I can just get rid of him. Stun him. Goodbye. Now, can I run on this log without falling off like a freaking idiot? And actually, didn't seem to be anything of any value up here to begin with. Great. Absolutely great. But there is definitely something important here. And I am apparently surrounded by enemies. It's just a 6, though. I know what I heard. I know what I freaking heard. I don't need you joining the fight, just in case. You didn't think I saw you, huh? Right, this is the main way to go through, so I'm going to go back in a bit. I just want to see what we're dealing with. Heading back this way. Ah, the hell with it. Get shocked. Oh, whoa! I was not expecting that. Yeah, get back up here. He's got hops, though. I'll give him that. No. That was not worth it. He didn't really give anything of real value there. Is that a... Yep. I recognize that stance. It is not easy aiming with this controller. That was actually very amusing. Just fire the arrows like, what the hell? Like, there's something I keep forgetting about this particular build. I should be shooting at enemies I plan to fight first. Because apparently it gives me an extra bonus in damage if I do. This particular armor set. Even though I didn't really go through all the weapons in the game, like, which ones would you guys prefer to use if you were playing this game? Shit. Or which ones would you prefer to use in real life? Right, there's something there. We got that. Will that bring me there? I think so. It looks like you can go around that way, which I need to do because that's a flag. Damn, looks like you're having problems. Hi. Wow, I missed all those strikes. I'm glad he's ignoring me. Yeah, you're a little too late. Like, realizing I was a threat all along. Alright, so... That is what I heard. That was that weird beast I heard earlier. Fuck. I can't go that way. Damn it. So how am I supposed to get... Because obviously I meant to jump on top of that and then kick the ladder to go down. Bit of a conundrum. Does my controller have motion aiming capability? Not really, no. I mean, I'm pretty sure on the PlayStation 4 that this, because I'm using a PlayStation 4 controller, but I don't think doing this really translates on PC. Maybe there's some software that will make that happen, but I do not have that software. Maybe I can jump over it? No. I can maybe go around that way? Maybe? This is not leading me in the direction I want to go into. But there are guys running around here, so maybe this is where I'm supposed to go. Shit. Go this way. Oh my god! That was funny. Man, fighting this thing is a pain. Come on. Come on. And let that be a lesson to you. This way. Now where the hell am I? Okay, so we do not want this guy causing trouble. You know, I miss the days when I used to be able to one-shot. I don't think this bow is... Did I level it up? I did. So why is it... Whatever's. Alright, I'm gonna go over here, over there, up this way. Sun's starting to come out again. Got that dude there. Why do I get the feeling that there's supposed to be something around here? That is obviously the way to go. We are not going that way yet. He's a level 10, so we can fight him, but... You know, we're gonna go this way. I am getting lots and lots of crap. Like I have not found a single thing yet that I've picked up that's really gonna be useful other than maybe a couple of key items. So YouTube has some mad schmoll character limits for chat. Yeah, unfortunately. So DS4 Windows claims it can. Huh. I might want to use that then. I mean, I normally use DS4 Windows for older games that don't have proper compatibility with this. But since I'm using Steam and Steam does, I haven't felt the need. But maybe I should do that. You're a 7, but you're a commander. So you know what that means? Die. Gotta know who to attack first. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, guys, if you're like me and you use DS4 controllers to play on PC, you're probably frustrated as I am about the micro USB connection that's on them. Because I play wired. I used to play wirelessly, but I got tired of the freaking lag, so I started playing wired. And micro USB sucks. USB-C is at least more stable, and you don't got to worry about the thing constantly disconnecting. You can mod this thing by yourself to accept micro USB-C. It's really freaking easy, and for any of you using these controllers for PC, I highly recommend you do that mod. All you need is a screwdriver and a little bit of your time. Drop dead. Let's see. We got dude over there. I think there's that one zombie moving around. But we are going to fight this dude. He shouldn't really be a problem. Don't turn around. Don't turn around. Don't turn. Thank you. Ah, damn it. There was somebody next to him. Die, 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 die. Damn it. That's right, get stunned. The lightning is awesome. All you really need to do is just make sure to apply the effect and then just start dancing around with extra energy, if you get my drift. And now we got this thing to deal with. I'm gonna see if I can sneak around it. Nope. I'm sorry this is taking so long. Like, again, I play this kind of methodically. I have to check every single last nook and cranny. It's the rules. How do you get there? I want to get there. Maybe if I fight this dude, I'll find out. Maybe I gotta like explore all around here for it. Huh. This looks promising. Or is this where I came from? But you didn't think I saw you? Here. Don't crash, game. You did that to me before. I don't appreciate it. You gonna let him do that to you? There you go. I am not too sure how to get around to that side. And it's going to be something obvious. Watch. I'm back here again. Yeah, back here again. Felt like I was like Mario from Super Mario Brothers all of a sudden because I just went, I'm back here again. Alright. Screw it. Let's just deal with this idiot. Wait. Now I'm kind of lost. And actually, what are you doing there? This tells me that there's something over here. Hey, die. Stop moonwalking back. Oh my God, it was... I just... That was it. That's all I needed to do. At least I found it. Now, lightning doesn't really hurt this guy that much, I don't think, but hey. Oh, he got stunned. What the hell? How the hell did that happen? Don't do that, game. Don't. Guan Yu, you couldn't have gotten this guy off my back? Seriously? Wow. Well, this character isn't joining the circus anytime soon with that level of balance. Analog says, as far as I can tell, the controllers you've been using, Sony minimal lag, paired with PC, have almost no lag when wireless. Huh. Well, now it's making me wonder if I'm wasting my time keeping it wired. There's a golden cicada shell. I need that. Almost no lag. Might be something to check. The problem is, this controller I have had for years, so I have a bad feeling if I do set this back up for wireless again, the battery will be dead. Though I could probably replace the battery, so that's if that's the case. So that might be something for me to consider. One thing that helps about being able to fix your own stuff is very, very useful. You know, shooting him is not really going to help. It's going to trigger this dude. And I would rather attack this dude first and kill him off before this guy jumps into it. Yeah, wander over there. I appreciate that. Keep going, keep going. Keep going. That's it. Yeah, die in the corner. That's a good zombie. And what the hell? Come on. Come on. Another! God damn it. This is not going well. That hurt. That helped, actually. And yes, I did parry those two. Damn, that dude cannot parry for shit. I guess Guan Yu's like, why do I need to parry? I just hit hard. And still, nothing but garbage. I'm sorry, but I'm looking at what I'm getting, and it's like, this is just such unbridled murderous intent. Okay, so that tells me that this is the main boss. If he's giving speeches like that, that means it's the main boss, which means I have not fully explored this area yet. Because I'm supposed to be at level 20 before going in there. But then again, he was only level 10, so... I don't know. Well, I'm level... I mean, there's no enemies here, and that was a boss dude, so I'm going to... No, I'm not going to risk it. I was going to, like, just simply level up, but that means it's going to turn this place back up, and it's going to be full of enemies again, and I don't want to deal with that nonsense. So I'm just going to do a quick run through to see if there's anything that I missed. Anything at all. And considering that this was a bit of a shortcut, this leads to another area. And I was already up there. I'm not going all the way back to the beginning, mind you. I'm just doing a quick overview. See, I knew it. There's no... And I hear our favorite demon panda friend. There's a whole other area here. Ah, now I recognize where I am. Give me a moment. I just want to make sure I got the chat properly showing. Is my DS for the version 1 or version 2? I think I have the version 2. I think. Not entirely certain. I thought so. Another way in. Every time there's another way in, you want to take that. Because usually going through the front door means you're going to get jumped. Stop stuttering, game! See? Now, if I had gone through the front door, I would have to deal with that BS. But there's another enemy around somewhere, too, that I can't see. See? See? I'd rather jump him first. Yeah, let's jump him first. Ah, if I actually blocked, I would have... No! This is not the time, game! Freaking stutters. Come on. Come on. Come on. I have to admit, the parry system in the game is a little unintuitive. You have to hit it just before it hits rather than as it hits. And because of the different ways that they swing, I find myself missing. Like, you have to anticipate the hit and then press it just as it's coming in. It's hard for me to describe. Like, the feel of the parry is not as intuitive as in other games. At least I find it's not. I mean, I don't completely suck. Whoa. This whole underground area here. Okay, is it just... Maybe it's below me that I'm... Where the hell is Guan Yu? Where the hell is Guan Yu? Are you serious? Where the hell did he go? To have a snack? To light a bud? Where the hell did he go? Oh, you have got to be kidding me. So how can you tell the V2 has light showing through the touchpad? Yeah, this is a V1. There's no light going through the touchpad. So. Open that up. Well, this is really cool. I'm glad I didn't go through that door. But, okay, I'm hearing that panda up there, but I hadn't seen it. Did you guys see it? Oh, wow. You see the game trying to kill me, right? Putting in lag when I'm having to parry. That's very nice. Oh, now you're dropping dead in one hit. Appreciate it. Grabbing that. 5 minerals powder. Good stuff, even though I almost never use it. And that, I'm assuming is... Oh, now you show up! What were you doing? Taking in the sights? Somewhere around here is our metal-eating friend. He's up there, isn't he? I probably freaking missed him as I was climbing up. Ah! Also, you've been keeping your plug all the time. It's been charging itself off of your PC, whether you like it or not. Yeah, I know that, which is why I'm thinking that the battery is probably dead. Because if you keep charging it, you're wearing the battery down. You're right around the corner. Stop lagging. Damn it. Actually, you know what? There's a chance that I am running out of space on my hard drive that's recording this as I'm streaming it, and that might be what's going on. There you are. I don't really need anything from you, but I'm going to give you an item just for completion's sake, because just because you see the panda doesn't mean that the game registers that you met it. You have to give him something to chomp on. Which is kind of annoying, but it is what it is. I got so much garbage I can give you. This one's spirit damage received by less, which is not garbage. Vanglorious Vanguard helmet, which I am probably never going to wear, so fine, I'll give you this. Eat that. I'm going to have to bounce for the night, but I'll look. Yeah, I'll put it there. I'll definitely put it there for you. Have a good night, Android. Okay, so, but it... And then I open the door from there. So I have 3 out of 4, but it is like more of the major flags I have not seen. Shite. This freaking map's bigger than I thought. I already opened up the door, so it's okay to go this way. Was there anything that I missed here? Possibly. Maybe. I am only level 13. I got a bad feeling if I go through that gate, I'm going to get turned into paste because I didn't find everything. I am running all the way back. I don't want to, but the game's not giving me much of a choice here. I don't know. Alright, we're going to go back through the gate and see if I missed anything there. Almost flung myself in a pit. major flags. Ugh. So there's that one. Like, there's like 4 major flags that I somehow missed. Can you stop freaking stuttering, please? You were doing just fine earlier. PS4 to play games on TV, Steam Link. Which is a... Again, I really do think the PlayStation controllers are the best overall controllers out when it comes to playing games. I know other people who swear by, you know, the Xbox controllers. I don't. I personally really do not like the design of those things. But not only that, I have beef against Microsoft, so I refuse to use their controllers as standard. There's several reasons why I do not like Microsoft. And I honestly... You know how, like, these days people consider the Xbox controller to be the default controller for PC? That's kind of insulting to me, considering that Microsoft at one time was actively trying to destroy PC gaming. And then suddenly now they want to be considered to be the default? No. Huh, how did I miss him? How you doing? When I stab you, you stay stabbed. Yeah, I mean, that is good stuff. I'm not going to lie. The leather is good. Gotta level up my stuff. I guess I might have to go through that gate. But I'm just not... What am I missing here? I wonder if I should switch builds to the build where I use a so-so armor, because... that one actually marks out where flags are when you're close to them. Which is why I was using that thing for such a long time. Damn it. Alright, you know what? Let's just risk it. Screw it. If I die, I die. As far as I can tell, I hit everything. What did I do? Did I just get myself lost? Yeah, I did. Stop with the stutters. Oh my god. Alright, this is getting ridiculous. Like, this thing is stuttering so much. This is not going to help with the boss fight. Alright, run through here, go all the way around here, go through the puddle. I really am getting the feeling that... Whoa! Major stutter there. Alright, since I'm going to be fighting the boss, I might as well level up a little bit. Yeah, put some more in wood. Alright. Let's see what happens. And Sony knew what they were doing. Yeah, PlayStation gamepads are... I do like how versatile they are. Well. Yeah. I don't think I'm ready for this fight. I am nowhere near ready for this fight. We're gonna die. We're gonna die. This is not a mid-boss. That can't be a mid-boss. Or maybe it is, I don't know. Wait a minute, we gotta fight 2 of these things? Yeah, this is not a mid-boss. I didn't fully explore the area. Damn it. This is some bullshit. Whoa, I thought I parried that. Wait a minute. Hit him, hit him, hit him. I'm going to switch weapons. Wait a minute. These guys are not that strong. Maybe these are mid-bosses. Oh, I effed up. I thought I parried that. Okay. Parry that. Yup. Yeah. Next. Whoa. Come on. I know everybody wants to do an Ornstein and Smo. Wait, did he just pick him back up again? Okay, I'm calling shenanigans. Do we have to kill both these guys at the same time? Yes. Uh-oh. Drink. No. That's right. Now we have to kill this dude. Okay, that wasn't too bad. That wasn't too bad at all. I handled it. I did all right. You couldn't have helped? Apparently. Huh. Red hair, huh? It says that it chooses its master. Let me guess, it's going to choose me. Oh, no, it chose Guan Yu. Okay, that makes more sense. Well, yeah, he is worthy enough to be in a beast like that, in my opinion. You know, this is a very, very, you know, kind of fantasy version of Romance of the Three Kingdoms, this particular game. And considering that Romance of the Three Kingdoms is a fictional fantasy version of the actual event, that's saying something. Den of Demons. Challenge your aid. I got a horse of my own. If this is the end of the... Is this the end of the whole thing? Or... I'm kind of confused. Apparently not. Yeah, of course he has to be a giant. Like, giant man on a giant horse. What the hell? Oh! Yeah, this was actually something that, You're not searching for our brother. Yeah, this is actually something that does happen in the story. Though, Wolong makes it happen differently. Like, in the novels, Guan Yu basically was sort of, like, blackmailed into it. And then when he finally comes back, at first they were accusing him of defecting. I mean, the way the game is doing it is not the way it happens in the story, but this conflict did happen. There was a moment when he was like, "You're perfect on the other side." Okay, so it continues on. All right. All right. There's only a few people watching at this point. I'm wondering if I should cut this off now, or do you want me to finish this? It depends on what you guys say. Because I could end it off here, especially since it's already 8:27 and I do need to start cooking. Or I could try to speed on further and get to the end of this. I'll let you guys decide. In the meantime, I might as well take a look. I got the dramatic music playing. You guys can hear me, by the way, right? Ah, more bastards. Whatever you feel is best, don't want to interfere with my own stuff. Okay. That was not what I wanted to do. Like I went into parry and I dodged instead. That was not cool. Yeah, screw it. Ow, I keep forgetting about that follow-up. That's what you get for ignoring me. Down for another 30 minutes. Okay. So these guys are stained in blood, and technically my character is too, but since I'm wearing red, you don't really notice. Eh. It's just one little rat. You guys couldn't do that. I'll take that. Rank 9 leather. Awesome stuff. This is definitely going to be another like nooks and crannies search thing. I can tell from the layout. I was already this way. There's something on that roof, so let me see if I can get on from over here. Woohoo! Shit. Yeah. You're no match for Wudon style. Even though Wudon didn't exist yet in this time period. Yo, these monsters got some crazy jumps. Did you notice? Well, the enemies, not just the monsters. Like, they should have been hired to go into the NBA instead of causing us problems. Okay, I gotta ask. You see that house, right? And then the blood trail kind of like leading in and out of it. Would you want to go in there? Like, if you're just like walking down the street and you see this, wouldn't you want to turn around and go in a different direction? Because, I mean, that's a lot of freaking blood. I mean, the bodies are also kind of a warning, but they're just... Jeez. Massacre parties make all the best parties because massacre parties don't stop. This peak horror movie, don't go in there signs, exactly. Who now? Oh, it's just you. Kill him. There you go. Kill him. His soul goes to me. Yeah. Let me see if I can sneak behind him. Yeah, that's a trick you can do, by the way. If you just keep spamming the block button as you're getting behind them, they'll never notice you. Because the weird thing is, like, they can kind of hear your footsteps. I mean, that's the best way I can kind of describe it when you're walking up behind them. So you usually have to hold on block, so it's like you're walking slowly. But if you do this as you're going behind them, you can sneak up behind them without having to do it slowly. And they won't notice you. Okay, so I guess I have to go through that gate, but I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. No big flags, no little flags. And this game's also kind of something here. Don't crawling with demons from floor to ceiling. Of course it's going to be messy. Oh yeah, that bodes well. Don't trust those statues. Seriously, don't. Granted, it's an easy way to find out if they're going to attack or not. If you can lock onto them, they're an enemy. See? Oh! So I see these things are made, huh? Why didn't I expect that thing to drop down? Alright, so that thing's an enemy. I do hate when my premonitions are right. See, now he's sounding like me. I don't know how many times I used to say, like, I hate it when I'm right. You know what? Let them fight. I mean, these things aren't that hard to fight, but I'm just letting them do some work for a change. I believe in you. There you go. Mm-hmm. So there's... Wait, what? That is a flag, right? Yeah. I'm just making sure that there's no one up there that's going to be taking pot shots at me, and I'm pretty sure there is. See, there's one. Perfect. Right through his nostril. I get the feeling there's another one, though. Grave robbers defiled. Of course. Schnick. Okay, we already know what that does. Let's take care of the flag first. Huh, it's kind of funny. We were just like saying, oh, these dirty grave robbers. And here I am grabbing the treasure right out of the tomb. I guess it's not bad if I do it. Really? I'm trying to sneak up on that dude. You're making things inconvenient. How dare you? Alright, so I'm going this way. I don't think I'm going to be able to sneak around him, but... Yep. Yeah, it was fairly easy. I didn't like the fact that I got hit, though. We aren't giving it back? What? You know what? Die. Die. Just die. 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 I'm getting tired of all of you. Alright, so this is obviously the main path. But we don't want to do that yet. We got to explore. So I'm going to go this... thought I heard an enemy. I'm going to go this way. Yeah, like that's not going to suddenly like explode or something. Okay. Interesting. Did it find us? Because it just suddenly rose up and I heard the music change. So I'm guessing it found us. Interesting. Okay. So, yeah, we could have been idiots and just gone straight through the front door, or we could do what I'm doing right now and sneak into the side paths to see what's there. Alright, so this dude there, obviously below us. But I get the feeling there's other enemies around. I mean, well, the red dots are definitely a giveaway, but... Let me see what happens. Yeah, there's one in the grave over there. And then, of course, guys behind there. So we're going to have to be careful with this. You saw nothing. Nothing. So you can destroy these things. How do you get up there? Oh, come on. I mean, I know he was there, but still just like, I didn't think he would activate. Because I didn't go straight to him. Alright, so, you know, around the corner. There's this path. Fuck archaeology. We're gonna go this way. Wait, am I going backwards? It feels like I'm going backwards. Or did I just simply get lost? Okay, jump here. Ah, here we go. Perfect. Now we got 2 more big flags to find. Just as the Emperor intended. I'm gonna go this way. Okay, you know there's some devilry around here somewhere. Huh. What is this room for? Yeah, these things are gonna attack. Both of them at once. So we might as well prepare. Get over here. Yep. Parrying is the way. I thought I... See, that's what minions are for, to do all the work. Oh yeah, this place is very inviting. You could have dinner parties here, bar mitzvahs. What is spotting me? I keep hearing that, but... Alright, an imposter. That's it. Take your slow lumbering ass over here. It's a little hard to read exactly when the attack's going to come down because of the very robotic way it moves. That definitely looks like a boss. I mean, I'm strong enough to deal with it right now. Emphasis being on I'm strong enough. The minions, not so much. I am so glad I did that. Because I'm pretty sure if I had fought that dude, that thing would have just burst around the corner and fucked us up. Excuse the language. Red means go, green means stop. The NPC doesn't know what red is. Uh-huh. This is a really interesting tomb what we have here. I'm also glad that this guy has absolutely no awareness whatsoever. That Dragon Vein Crystal is going to be very useful. I'll use that right now. And I'm going to use this right now. Now, we are going to go in and murder this bastard. Can I sneak behind? Yes! What the hell? I am so glad that I'm parrying. Oh, great. We don't need this. Ah, and he's lightning. Well, wood. I don't know why it would count. I mean, I have a theory, but... Wait, that's all it took? Never mind. I wonder whose tomb this was supposed to be. The terracotta statues are very stone. Very, very stone. You know what? Fuck you. Okay, so... Oh! We're here. Goodies. I like goodies. Oh, dual halberds of Lady Hull. That seems interesting to me. These have a... Ooh, they got a wood scaling. And also a fire scaling, so they might work with one of my other builds. Interesting, interesting. By the way, dual halberds, I didn't show them earlier, but they definitely are kind of anachronistic. They're sort of like a what-if weapon. Like, it's like, okay, if you got, like... This seems to be the major path out, so I am not going that way yet. We still need to explore the inside, I think. But yeah, I don't think these, the dual halberds that they have in the game are something that was used in real life. They're like, basically, it's like... Lightning is a wood element because lightning strikes. Yeah, I was thinking that lightning strikes trees. You know, the whole wood thing. I was thinking the same thing. That was my own rationale. And when the dual halberds are used like hook swords in this game, which again are very anachronistic. There were no... Nobody asked, Joe! I'm in the middle of explaining something! See? That's what you get for interrupting. Now, as I was saying... they're used like hook swords, twin hook swords that you usually see in modern martial arts demonstrations, and that is not something that was used here. And some of the hooked weapons are just shorter versions of G, which I am pretty sure wasn't really a thing. It's more like a what if. Like, you know, maybe there was somebody running around with a shortened G and using it like a, you know, a short melee weapon. Maybe. I'm sure. Possibly. That is not what I wanted to do, but the controller decided to do its own thing. Yeah, uh-huh. Don't ever let me see you do that shit again. Ow. Yeah, I have a hard time figuring out their pattern, the way they swing. There's like this, they don't telegraph. There's no real wind-up. There's a very short wind-up, and then instantly the attack comes out. And again, since you can't parry just as the attack's coming in, you have to parry before the attack comes in. Timing it is just annoying. I want to check something. See, there's obviously a way up there, but I'm not exactly sure how to get there. Oh, okay. I guess I got whatever was in this room. I am a little lost, I will not lie. Really? That's right, we're bullies in here. Let's go over here. And then, yeah, this side. So jump, jump, like crisscross, grab that, and more garbage. There's apparently stuff over there that I missed. Oh, and well, actually, that was the way down. So, go over here. Okay, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I did fully explore this place. I'll take that. There's a twin G weapon in the game that's just 2 axes. Yeah, I did notice that. I was using them earlier in another build. And then there's a way up there. So I'm going to go back this way. And then there's that path, and then there's this path. Never mind. Okay, so there's here, and then here. All right, so this is just a crevice, and then I'm over here. So there is something I'm missing. Maybe it comes from the other direction? Huh. There is something I'm not seeing. So let me see here. And we could go through. Or is this where I came from? I'm back here. Huh. Okay. And then we went through there, and then there's this path. Another path not taken, and then we're back here. And then this leads here, which is definitely important. So we might have cleaned this place out, because I'm not really seeing anything else. This just leads right back down to the hall that we were at before. We've already seen there, we've already seen here, yeah, there's nothing hidden here. Nothing to break down, so I'm just going to go back into this disgusting hallway. Onward and upward or whatever. Got any drink on you? Dude, wasn't drinking what got you in trouble before? You ended up losing a city because of it? Alright, so I am pretty sure we cleaned everything out. Pretty sure. But we got everything back here. We can't... Well, there's this thing, so I'm assuming we're going to go back outside, and then we're going to have to, come around the other way. I'll try to keep, track of that. There's no way through there. It's probably around there somewhere. What is up, brother? Choice, but this so you wouldn't try it. All right, we cannot have. Is he an archer? I don't think he is. So there's a chance when I fire this, he's probably going to come after us. But this is something I do in a lot of games like this. When you see an open area and there's towers, first thing I do is look for snipers. Even in first-person shooters is one of the first things I do because. That was easy. Let's see. Not seeing anyone there. Not seeing anyone there. I'm pretty sure they're going to show up, like they'll materialize as we move through. But for now, I'm not seeing anything. All right, I want to move in this direction to see if there's a way into that door that we saw earlier. Unless... No. Yeah, there's got to be a way this way. Unless there was something on the inside that I missed. Which is possible. And yeah, I did notice the guy patrolling down below. If we bump into him, fine. We'll murder him just like the rest of his brethren. Alright. No. Trying to see if there's like a ladder or another way through on this side, but so far nothing doing. And I know there's like that path over there. That's the main path, but we're trying to get around. I probably should take a drink. Oh, wow. I thought that was one of my dudes for a second. Thanks for dying. Have a nice day. Oh, an assassin. Let's get rid of him quick, please. Hey, Mac. Take the rest of the night off. What's this way? I'm going to climb back up and survey the area again. Because it doesn't seem to be an easy way to get over here. I don't see any ladders there. Oh, really? Okay, oh, there he is. You know, I think I'm going to beef up Zhang Fei because he seems to be the more violent of the two. Dude. Damn, he had to like pretty much like... Ow. Oh, maybe I don't need to do anything. Never mind. It's just hard for me to get in. There. That's right, we just took your lunch money. We're bullies in here. Alright, I'm beginning to wonder if that area I'm seeing there is just decoration, because it doesn't seem like there's an easy way there. And if there isn't, then that means there's another way to get to that door from here. Maybe. But I'm looking around and... like, I'm not seeing anything up here. Right? Unless there's something up there that I didn't see? You got that door. And of course there was this room where it was just that bastard in there and that was it. The stupid rat thing. And that's it. What am I missing here? Can only be opened from the other side. Is it something from below? Maybe there's a path below me that I missed? Huh. No, I don't know. That door's hiding goodies, and I hate it when the game hides goodies that I can't easily get. Why is that there? Oh, there we go. Okay, then. I did not see this earlier. See, all it took was just a little bit. Nobody asked you. All it took was a little bit of searching around. Inside rooms or places to be climbing. Been a while. Okay, so drop down. Grab the flag. Yay! And we just have one more, and I know exactly where it is. See? Just had to be patient. I just had to be patient and go back. This live stream is going on longer than I was expecting. It's a good thing I don't have to work tomorrow. All right, so we got to go that way, and that's the last flag. So we're going to slowly, you know, just go around very quietly and just very politely snuff out the lives of those around here. You know, as you do. He's going to see me. There's no way to avoid it. I mean, if I was using my water build, I could just go right around him, but whatever. That was a nice strike. Too bad it was heavily telegraphed. By the way, that armor he's wearing, that is more period accurate. The armor my character is wearing, damn it, another assassin. That's what you get. Anyway, the armor my character is wearing, that's not period accurate. I'm pretty certain it isn't. It looks more like, you know, again, the kind of, in Romance of the Three Kingdoms, they put a lot of the way they portrayed the characters, they were wearing, you know, armor that was contemporary for the time, i.e. Ming era, you know, Ming Dynasty era armor. But many of the soldiers I'm seeing and many of the characters, I'm seeing them with more accurate looking stuff. But I could be wrong. Again, my area of expertise is not so much armor. So I'm pretty sure somebody watching this goes, oh, no, actually, this was accurate. But it doesn't look that accurate to me. Jump attack's a very strong in Street Fighter. Very strong in Street Fighter. You can see that was only a walkway. All right, so that guy, 1, 2, leap. Keep my eyes peeled for loot, huh? Maybe in that direction? Or maybe in there? I don't see no loot. It's probably down below somewhere because there's no other place to, well, there's here. And then there's there, and then around there. We'll come back around here and find it. Because I'm going to be, of course, going through the whole area. Ah, man! Let's try to get over there. Because I know there's some stuff up there. Don't know if it's any good, but got to pick the place clean. Pick the place clean. Jump up here. 1, 2. Run on the roof. 1, 2. Made it. I probably can't run on that. That's probably what's going on. And I don't think I can jump up that way. That way doesn't lead to any... So it's got to be around that side. Something around that side that I can climb or jump up on. Because, yeah, it's not letting me go that way. So we'll go around the corner. And I don't see any ladders or anything, so... What am I missing here? Nope. The lighting that pops up, that gives these walls a shimmer, makes it look like there's something special about them, and... No, there isn't. How the hell do you get there? What am I missing here? To put pride before honor. What the flock am I missing here? Or is it this? Ah, it was that simple. Well, but it's not going to lead me. Ah! There's no tents over here that I can jump on to get there. Wow. Jumping's a little inconsistent in this game. Yeah, you definitely can't go on top of that. Because otherwise it would have given me the extra boost for it. Yeah, there's just no obvious way to get there. Once again, it's going to be something simple that I'm not seeing. over there, maybe? I guess it's not really all that important. But, who knows? Really? Alright, so we got that dude, and then we got that guy patrolling. I said we got this guy patrolling. Jeez. So, we could try to jump that guy in the corner over there, but we got to find a way to get there without alerting him. So, don't turn around. Yeah, I would like to jump that guy alone, and then we'll take on the fire demon beast thing. Yeah, I prefer this. That was fun. Now, we'll get Mr. Violent Boy ready. Come on, get over here. What? Wow. Ah, he missed me, so my parry didn't work. Thank you. Thank you very much. Too bad he dropped... Well, the Jade Staff wasn't garbage, but everything else was. And now I can level up and find out what's in there. Hey, demon. So there's no double jumping along. Nah, that second thing is just for kicking off enemies and jumping over them. That is true. I mean, I use it as a double jump, but it's not a real double jump. Okay, so I'm going to level up. Get that to 59. And at 60, then I'll probably boost this up to about 30 afterwards. I do not know who the boss is here. I don't know if it's better for me to pick a different build. But we're going to find out the hard way, aren't we? Because that's how we do things around here. And then after this, I have to cut the stream off and cook. I am a bit behind schedule on that. Oh, poor boy Liu Bei is effed up. Where are your precious sworn brothers now? Don't tell me we're going to have to fight Liu Bei. Big brother, Dagon! Yeah, now we gotta fight Liu Bei. Wood virtue, something you learn from Ron Jeremy. So now we're fighting the dragon thing. What? This is going to be a fight. And now I am regretting using the wood element. Whoa. Come on. I am proud of parrying that, though I got hit by that. I can't get close to him. I'm going to die. I am going to die. Alright, I gotta get my bearings and try to figure him out. Yeah, I better switch weapons. have to read his attacks. They're kind of hard to read. Yes! Ah, I didn't know he was going to throw another one. Okay. If I lose this, I'm going to be switching builds. Because we got to get him down. Come on. Damn, he's just jumping all over the place, so it's hard for me to really get a bead on. And he keeps switching targets like crazy. This again. We're too much on the defensive. We got to move in. Damn, they're getting fucked up. And so am I. Damn, I couldn't parry that. Damn it, I couldn't. Well, we already lost Guan Yu. Finally, jeez. Not what I wanted to do. Whoa! How are you supposed to keep track of this? It's just hard to get to this guy. I mean, believe it or not, I'm enjoying this fight. I'm just trying to figure out his pattern. Ah! Mistimed that. Okay. He is obviously using the wood element, so you know what that means. Unfortunately, I don't have a metal build. I don't have a single metal build. Oh my god. Let me see. But using metal against him is probably not going to work. And, I mean, I'm assuming since he's a metal build. I mean, I would, but he's using a metal build. So, alright. Let me. He's using wood. Metal works against wood very well. The problem is I got no metal ones. But since he is using a wood build, using wood against him doesn't really make much sense, which is what I'm using right now, because he's going to have defenses against it. So I'm thinking... I don't have a single one where I've boosted up metal. I do have this guy, though. Or I can go for Ruthless King. Ruthless King tends to be pretty strong. If I lose this next one, I might just run back to the village and then try to make a metal build and then go back and then try it again. Like, I'm hovering over these two. This guy is so swift with... Oh, wait. Yeah, we're going flowing water. We're going flowing water. We're definitely doing flowing water. And actually, you know what? We're going to travel back to the village. Because since I leveled up a couple of times, I want to get him kind of high up. I mean, I could try to stone build. I mean, yeah, the defenses are going to be pretty strong with that. That might be a bit better. That's the one I used against Tashisa. I gotta think. Because part of me is wanting to use flowing water because of one particular spell I have, which completely just F's bosses up. Well, first I wanted to go here just so... Wait, what am I doing? I can't do it from there. This, by the way, is one of the flaws that I don't like about this game. If you happen to level up and you... Because you can save your builds, right? But they're saved at the level that you saved it at. So if you, like, for in this particular instance, I'm going back to my water build who's at level 111. So I have extra points to level up a stat, but I can't just simply go to the level up function. I got to go all the way back to this old bastard and go to this, and then I can pump points up. Bit of an oversight in the game, I think. Anyway, we're going to try this guy. Yeah, whatever, old man. I'll be back there in a second. So I'm going to go back here, go to this, battle set, save flowing water. Then we're going to go to Earth Warrior, apply this, then level him up. Yes, I'm standing on your table. What are you going to do about it? Beef this up. Go back here. This is so tedious. It really is. Now I got to go back here, go to this, go to Earth Warrior, save. And I got to do this for all of these. Imagine if I had a whole lot of other builds. So, no, I do not have Heart Demon. This is all the Chinese thing. You know what? We're going to make a new build. We're going to make a new one right now. Let's go back here. This is how you can, like, set up builds. The cool thing is that once you get this old man unlocked, you can literally just reset all of your points. So I could just go here. If I want to make a metal build, for instance, I could take all this down. I'll put this back to 10. And then all those points, I could just jack it up over here. See? Metal, he's mostly using, like, you know what? Screw it. We're going to bring this down to 12. Jack that sucker up. Metal is with the fire, so I need to counter fire. Fire gets countered with water, so I could put a couple of points into this, but there's no reason to. There's really no reason to. And then I should... Okay, so we're going to go over here. We're going to save this right here. And then I'm going to call this one Gold Hand. Now, we need metal weapons. Cannot kill the metal. So, this is only a D rank. This is an A, so this stays. In fact, this might be my main weapon. In fact, I could probably just stick with that and don't have to worry about anything else. But if I have any straight sabers that are good with metal, do I have any? Oh, the straight saber. I'm looking at the wrong thing. Halo. Not a single one. Oh my god. There's not a single. Oh wait, what am I saying? I was looking at the wrong stat. Etiquette is strong with metal. Ritual Sword of Chaos is also good with metal. Do I have any ones at 4? If I got a Ritual Sword of Chaos at 4, that's what I'll pick. Unfortunately not, but the Jade Handle one, we'll stick with the dual-handed sword here. Now we need to change the armor because I don't think this armor is good against metal. I mean, good against wood, not metal. I keep saying metal. What do I got? What do I got? Unscrupulous Crown is good against fire. This is something strong against wood. The Young Conqueror. The Young Conqueror stuff is, it's better than nothing. Man of Benevolence. So in other words, I'm playing, oh shit. Okay, I see where this is going. I know exactly what I'm going to have to go with. I see exactly what I'm going to have to go with. Or maybe not. Head armor. Where is it? Man of Benevolence. It's a 4. So we'll grab that. I'm pretty sure there was another Man of Benevolence right there. And then this one. Come on. I got a lot of junk I need to get rid of. Man of Benevolence there. And then finally, Man of Benevolence pants. Good. Now we've beefed up our wood protections a bit. Yep, it's basically Yube's armor. Now we're going to go over here and level it up. Your pauldrons look ridiculous. How does the dude raise his arms? I know, it's... I don't like that armor set. I really don't. I just had it for a particular fight. So we're going to upgrade. And then we're going to the crown. I'm going to have to get rid of some of my junk soon, but I really needed to cut this off, but I'm pretty sure if I just cut the stream off now, it's going to be anticlimactic for you guys. Armor. Yeah, keep leveling, keep leveling, keep leveling. Yeah, we need to get that at 8. And then this. Come on! It's taking too long. Okay. So. Oh yeah, the weapons. Heaven's Reliance. Jinshu is that it's fine, it's good. And now the spells that I'm going to need for this. So, what's going to be useful against this fool? Not really all that good, I guess. I mean, it's fast. It's storms and constant enemies of terrain. They'll be slowed. That might be useful. Toxin bubbles. Devouring sweep. Not for this fight. Life Wither? That's gonna be useful. Hell yes. Try this. And now we're gonna set our spells. So this is going to be... Where's that Life Wither? Actually, no, yeah, we'll do Life Wither. And this is going to be changed, obviously, to the Toxin Weapon, I think it's going to be called. Yep, Toxin Weapon. Keeping that, because it's going to help keep us alive. And I'm wondering if I should keep the Enhanced Defense, or if I should go with something else in metal. That might help. It's Calamity Bolts. The chick's initials MC because it's hammer time. So there's the option to use Decorate to change the look. Yeah, there's also that too, which I have done. Poison Corrosion. Elemental Plague. Status fix dealt to enemies for a certain period of time. I'm going to keep what I got. So we're going to save this. Battle set to Gold Hand. So we're going to try this build out and see what happens. I'm going to keep the Qinrong in case we need to get our health back up. Though I'm really itching to use the water build because there's a certain spell I have that's really, really good. The Dongzhuo officer set because it's accurate. Yeah, the Dongzhuo set is not too bad. Alright, so let's do this like Brutus, because we always do this. I'm not doing the year boy. Damn, I really need to cook. I am so late. I was not expecting to stream this long. I really wasn't. But I spent so much time explaining weapons and stuff like that earlier on. It just ate up too much of the time. Come on. Can you hurry up, please? I don't got all day. I don't. Han officers. Yeah, there's only Han infantry. I'm really surprised by that, actually. But maybe they didn't know what... I don't know. Alright, we're just going to skip the cutscene because we already saw the cutscene. Okay, mother. Okay. Damn, I feel like rooted. Damn, he is on my ass. Ha ha ha. See, already that's working, sort of. Oh, I didn't know he was coming after me. See, that's the thing. It's so hard to see which way he's going and who's attacking. Oh, man. I messed up. I was supposed to do the stab after that, and I screwed it up. Oh, he went after him. I might as well do this. Alright, probably going to do a second phase. Yep. How'd I know? Oh, that hurt. Get your ass up. That was close. I am so glad I did that. Do a life wither. Can I reach him? Another one. Oh, that's it? Okay. The life wither helped. That life wither really, really helped. I really wanted to use my water build, but I could always do this fight again and see how well that build would have worked against him. Because Ominous Chill stuns bosses. But then again, now that I'm thinking about it, it probably wouldn't have worked too well because he moves around too much. And Ominous Chill takes a while to set up. Well, then again, when he flies up in the air and does that charge up thing, that would have been the perfect time to do it. And that's when I wanted to do it, so. Was this his last words now? Then again, I don't think Liu Bei dies before these guys do. So, they probably saved him. Fought hard and lost so very much. And now you've lost again. He does have some cool looking swords, even if they are anachronistic. Follows more predictable and focused. Yeah. The boss battles are a bit easier to deal with when they're just attacking you. Because you can concentrate on the moveset. Yeah, get your dumb ass up. Yeah, I had to wear your Green Ranger armor. The armor that I was wearing in my other build, I would love to turn that one green. Because I like the look of that one. Watching Blossoms. Okay. They have some really interesting ways of spending the time. Alright, finally I did beat this thing. Finally, being the operative term. It only took me 2 tries, so it wasn't that hard. It was wild and crazy, but it wasn't that hard. Now, hard fight would be the Tashisa fight that I did off camera. Oh my god. Not even Liu Bei was that bad. Both forms of Liu Bei were not that bad, actually. Tashisa was just... ugh. A bow option? If you're talking about... I mean, you always have a bow and arrow, but there's no way of just simply playing with... well, no, not really, because you're limited by how many arrows you have, so trying to go through a whole area just with a bow and arrow is not going to work. No. Okay, he's fucked. Damn, that sucks. Well, that sucks. You didn't attack the old man? Like paper mache already? Yeah. Yeah, rather interesting how, you know, these weapons can just tear right through the very thing that's supposed to stop weapons, but... typical video game nonsense. Like, dude, what the fuck? Battle with like catapults and like demons and crazy like, you know, demonic tigers and stuff, like that's enough to make people just quit. Like, imagine if this is your normal life. Like, just no. But we're gonna end it off here. I have to cut it off here. I wasn't expecting to go this long with the stream. To the battlefield. Twilight's Calling. High risk battle where you'll face a particularly dangerous foe. Huh. That actually sounds like fun. Gotta be level 100 for that, huh? I'm probably gonna do that one off camera, but yeah, that looks like it's gonna be fun. How many times has armor ever shown to actually do its job? I can't really think of a single game where armor actually does its job. Ever. All it really does is, oh, it just reduces the amount of damage you take. And really heavy armor, no. Any armor is supposed to pretty much blunt the freaking thing, but whatever. Especially against swords. Swords are not supposed to go through armor. That was the... We don't need to have that talk tonight. We already know. We already know. But, yeah, I'm going to end it off here. Again, the stream went on a bit longer than I wanted, but it did start off pretty good. I think several of you guys were entertained. We got to talk a bit about, you know, the actual weapons in the game. I know I didn't go over every weapon, but I went over some of the, you know, more interesting and egregious ones. If you want, I can go a little bit further into it some other time. I probably should just do a straight up standalone video on the weapons in this game. But yeah, thanks for joining me, guys. Hopefully you had a good time. And yeah, I will catch you all later. Take care. And yeah, do your best to find a way to, you know, keep sane during these crazy ass freaking times. So, take care.